purpose as Erosus and to make content for people, I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
It's like
that's my
Blue
purpose.
Lock. Yes.
People follow me for my content. If I don't make content, people don't follow me. That's my purpose to them. Not my purpose in life, of course, but my purpose as an individual on an online space is to post leaks. And I use this guy's content as an example. Like, you post colorings. I follow you because I love your colorings. But if you stopped posting colorings, I guarantee you people would begin to unfollow you because no one is here for just your rants. People are here to see your colorings. So
Yeah.
your purpose in the online sphere is to be a colorist. Your job is to provide people with colorings to enjoy. And your positive feedback is likes, followers, and positive comments. That's what you get when you post good colorings.
Exactly.
Leakers get likes, followers, and good comments, or get engagement from the chapter because they post the leaks. That's what they get when they do their job good. When they do their job bad, as in low quality leaks, no translations, and posting them out of order, I'm going to criticize them for it. I'm going to say they failed or they were slacking this week because that's not the standard that they usually provide us with. They usually provide us with a standard of quality. If I collect 100 pieces of trash every day, and on that last day I only pick up 50 when there is still trash to be picked up, I'm therefore slacking on that day because I'm not meeting the quality that I've set my standard for.
Hey, Kit Kate.
Kit Kat, what's up, bro?
We've got a viewer.
No worries, OPC, when you get home.
Am I wrong for that statement? Am I wrong in that?
No, you're not wrong.
I think it's a vibe.
Honestly,
I don't care that. I'm just like vibing with this chapter because I just think the scene of fucking Isagi's dad copying him is really funny.
I will also say they fumbled so hard. The leakers made it even worse with no translations and out of order because there's so much in this chapter that that got revealed that I'm just like so excited to discuss.
Yeah, totally.
Yep.
I mean, when I saw like the leaks or whatever, and I like really quickly was like, this just is wrong. I was like, I'm just not going to read it. Yeah. Like, it's just going to be confusing. And
says, can we just ditch leakers? I mean, leakers, for me, this is what I think, right? With the leaks, it used to be quite valuable when they used to come out like 3 days, 2 days in advance. But now that they're coming out the day before
less than 24 hours.
Yeah, it's like I don't get excited about leaks anymore. I just wait until the officials most of the time.
Especially because the leaks sometimes have small changes compared to the like real official.
Not even
releases.
that. Like, we couldn't even ditch leakers if we wanted to because the leaking culture has ruined the community. If every leaker in the world, because leaking is illegal. If you leak content like that before the official release, it's illegal. The reason I schedule my stuff for 9 a.m. the following day is because as soon as my video goes out, the officials have released in my time zone. So as soon as I put out the video, it's no longer considered leaking because the officials are available. Sure, I'm using leaked scans, but I'm not posting them prior to officials, so it means nothing. I'm also adding extra commentary to it, which takes creative liberty and protects me from copyright law. So I can do what I do. Leakers have straight up ruined the leaking community, and as creators, we don't have a choice. We're literally at beck and call for the leakers, because if we don't post content as soon as it gets released, we are behind everyone else, and we are losing on valuable income. Like I'll say this: if I go through, I'll go through this right now. I'll be transparent with this for my stuff. If I go to like my content and I go to my playlist of all of my chapter reviews, right? Let's go just to my Isagi, like when Isagi scored the final goal, chapter 293. I got 109,000 views on my leak breakdown. I made $233. If I didn't make that video, I would be missing out on $233 of revenue, which when it relates to paying bills, you cannot afford to do that. I consider it like missing a shift at work, like taking a shift off. You're missing valuable income that you cannot that you just cannot do. You cannot do that.
Yeah, exactly.
And, like, you're forced to be at beck and call, and if you don't cover it, someone else will. And it's not a matter of if someone else covers it, you can't. It's just a matter of if someone else covers it and you don't, you're missing out on a valuable amount of money. And I will say, I started making the leak video I posted today. I started at midnight last night. I got on a call with my buddy Anamasu. Right, so do you know Anamasu?
Yeah.
I was on a call with him for 2 hours, and we went through every single page of the leaks. We drew out the hiragana, katakana, and kanji, and we translated that ourselves. We went through and translated for like 2.5 hours. We spent translating everything to get as close to accurate description as possible with the leaks. Some of them were low quality, so we had to inference based on like a couple syllables and such. But that's what we had to do. I was planning on not doing a leak video. I was not going to. But then my buddy, he's like, yo, you want me to help you translate leaks? I'm like, fuck yes. So then I posted the video. Now my video is sitting at 12.4K views. That's going to get me between 30 and 50 extra bucks.
Yeah.
I would have missed out on that money had I not made the video. You can't go anti-leak as a creator because you're missing out on a valuable amount of income that you could need to pay your bills.
Yeah,
can't do it. You're at beck and call for the leakers, and it sucks.
Hey Vincenzo. Hey BioShell, extra large.
I've never heard anyone.
Do y'all agree with that statement, though?
Am
I talking out of my ass, or do you guys?
No, 100%, man, 100%. Because like you said, it's a community thing. So they have their job to do, you have your job to do, and then at the end of the day, we try to get the content out to people for people to enjoy. So it's all a cycle, and if one person don't do their job, you have so many irate people, and as well, like you say, you miss out on revenue as well. So it affects you if they're being a little bit incompetent on their part. Yeah. No, like, I fully get that.
I was described this in my argument with the person. Like, this is such a good description. Consider the space of anime manga as A, B, C, and D. A are the people in Japan who work at the bookstore who get the magazines early before they're put on the shelves, right? They are A. They take pictures and are paid by the leakers, which are B, to get the leaks. As the leaker, well, A is technically the leakers. B, I was just going to start calling them the communicators, because their role is to communicate the leaks that they get to the community accurately and confidently. Clearly, accurately, and confidently. That way, us as the community, C, content creators, can interpret the information and then produce content from it. To which D are the casual viewers who take our content as entertainment from everything. It's a cycle. If the leakers fail to communicate the leaks effectively, they're not fulfilling their purpose in the community. And therefore, they deserve the backlash of it, which is lower likes, less views, and unfollowing, and criticism. That's what they deserve for a poor week. When they do a good week, they get the basic. They don't deserve praise for communicating their role, because they are doing it voluntarily of their own accord to fulfill this role. The standard is set. Provide clear, crisp, good translated leaks for the community to form opinions about and enjoy early. If they don't do that, they get criticized. If they do it, they get no praise. Their praise is good viewership, likes, and following. That's what they get in return. If they go above and beyond of like giving us a full high quality chapter, which they've done a couple times going into stuff. Like, I'm pretty sure the Isagi goal score chapter was released all high quality when we first got it. Or it was I think it was Isagi's bid value. That was all high quality. If they provide us all with high quality scans, then they get praise because they went above and beyond. But you don't get praise for meeting a standard that was set by the entire animanga space.
Yeah.
Sorry, this pissed me off. I wanted a 3-hour debate on this. It pissed me off. I wanted to convey this.
A debate with who?
One of my mutuals on Twitter. Like, he replied to did that tweet, the original tweet, did it sound offensive? Did it sound rude to any regard?
Nah, it just seemed like you were just saying it how it is.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And he responds and says, they don't have control of everything. It's just a matter of time before stuff like this happens. They're still human. And I said, no way you're defending the leakers right now. And he goes, they're people too. I'm not going to shame them for a mistake. They're not getting paid for anything for doing this shit. Why would I act like my life is ruined because they messed up or because someone across the globe sent terrible photos? It ain't a big deal. Like, I'm not saying it's the end of the world. I'm just saying I'm allowed to negatively criticize them for a mistake, as you would in any situation.
In any, like with any service that's being provided, man, you can give your opinion, and it can be negative. Like, people act like you can't have a negative opinion or something, even if it is free. We just gotta be real in it.
Like, if I pirate a movie, I can still be upset at the quality of the movie if it's not a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a bad movie, whether it's pirated or not, it's free, but I can still say it's a bad movie.
Yeah, pirating a movie. That's for some reason I feel like pirating movie is so old school. Like when I hear that, I think back to like the LimeWire days and Pirate Bay and things like that.
Fucking don't like the anti-pirating like that you get before movies or whatever.
Long time ago when you used to be able to get viruses on your computers and shit.
That's such a good advert. You wouldn't steal a car.
Yeah. Yo, I have a thought about this. I wanted to get your opinion on this.
Mm-hmm.
So going into the NEL, we had the Mikage earbuds for translations, correct?
Yes.
So all the streamers can engage with each other. Going into the U20 World Cup, they're not going to have them. So they're not going to understand what's being said, will they?
But this is the thing. I reckon they will have them.
Why?
Because Blue Lock, well, they've moved the World Cup to Japan, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Blue Lock is a big, massive facet of that. I reckon Mikage Corp actually sponsors part of the World Cup, and thus the headphones will be actually used because remember the reasoning why they were able to get the bid to move the World Cup to Japan. Part of that was because of the success of Blue Lock TV. And a lot of the success of Blue Lock TV came from the fact that, they was documenting everything and you could hear the players and things like that. So I don't see why they would, divert from that.
The reason I asked this is because Animosity just sent me a thing of first thumbnail for the latest chapter, and it has Isagi and it has Ego, and it says, Ego is sending me to China, and the letter says, get to learning Chinese, buddy. And the response was ni hao, egoist. And I'm just thinking, wait, are they just gonna not be able to understand? Like, if they played against the China team, will they ever be able to understand what's being said?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Oh, should we get into the chapter? Or should we? Because I was about to ask, right? Because I've seen on Twitter, it seems like everyone, or there's a misconception that everyone got the tapes that Isagi got, but from what I've seen, only Isagi received a package the way he did.
I mean, Isagi implies that the stuff that he gets sent is specific to him.
Yeah, and the letter as well implies that. But when we see Batsura getting his letter, it looked like he just took it out of a mailbox.
Yeah, that was my point too. Like, Isagi, this is evidence I think Isagi is going to be the team captain. Like, why would Isagi be the only one to get a letter being told to study game-changing moments if he wasn't going to be the captain, understanding and directing game-changing moments, manipulating the field into that? Like, also a plane ticket that's never addressed.
Yes. Where is it to? Yeah, exactly.
Where is it to?
It's a plane ticket.
I gotta see, where is it? Does it? It's gotta, maybe it specifies where it's to in the thing.
I tried to look.
I kind of feel like it did, but
there's nothing that suggests where it's actually to.
I'm thinking it's gonna next chapter is called X-23. It could relate to the 23 players in Blue Lock. X-23, an X-Men character.
X-23. That's where I went to. I was like, is that not like the Wolverine, the girl version of Wolverine or something?
Yeah, like, I don't know why. We could speculate. Maybe he goes to Mexico, X23 it was depicted as had Mexican citizenship, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But I think X23 it's probably relating to the 23 players probably going through what they're doing in their lives.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think Isagi, this could be Isagi's way of going to Spain, like studying at Real. Okay, you're being told to study game-changing moments. Now go see it in action at the strongest club in the world. Again, I'm trying to use everything possible to leverage Isagi going to Real, that theory. But
I mean, it's kind of awkward since we know they only have 2 weeks until they're going to start, until the U20 Cup starts.
Yeah, so see, this is the thing. How long did they say it was? Like 45 days or something?
45, yeah.
45 days left, right? So, do you reckon in between that time, Isagi flies out? He says he's got 2 weeks, right? 2 weeks off. Do you reckon he flies out in that 2 weeks? Or is it a case he stays home and then flies out after 2 weeks and doesn't join the Blue Lock guys until the World Cup starts? Because if you think about it, right, everyone was talking about 11 versus 11.
Thing is, where would he go?
That's the thing. He's got the plane tickets. We don't know where those plane tickets are. We don't know where those plane tickets are too. So it could be anywhere. I've seen some people speculate maybe Germany. I've seen some people speculate Spain. So it literally could be anywhere. But does that mean that Isagi, because I believe that he's the only one that received these plane tickets, does that mean that he flies out somewhere and then the 22 that are left do a 11 versus 11?
Yeah, see, that's what I think. Like, they got to, because they have 2 weeks off.
Yeah, because that's in line with your theory from before, isn't it?
Yeah, they have 2 weeks off before they have to go back to Blue Lock. So give Isagi the plane ticket to have him leave. I mean, he's the face of Blue Lock right now. Like, sure, Reen's #1 with him, but Reen isn't the face anymore. Isagi is. Like, Isagi is front and center of everything. He was on the poster. He spoke at the conference. He's being given all this stuff. He's the face of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And Kit Kate says here, someone said there were multiple tickets held together with a clip. And I did notice that they were held together with a clip, but that could just be like a return tickets. So there and back.
Yeah, well, there are multiple objects, but we don't know like exactly what they are.
Yeah. So yeah, it could be anything really. Maybe there's some like tickets to matches included in that bundle there. Do you know how like Rin got ticket to go see Sae?
Yeah.
Could be something similar where Isagi's invited somewhere in Germany or something to go watch Bayern Munich play or something like that.
Hold up. Let me see something. Hold up. I'm gonna see something. So it is a plane ticket. We've seen plane tickets before, right? Like with Sae in the U20 flashback. If his ticket looks at all anything similar, then maybe we can speculate that he is going to Real as well, because they both went to Spain. No, he was holding his phone, so we don't have. I don't think an image.
It was his phone.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Vincenzo, the players in theory aren't training for this 2 weeks. I mean, realistically, some of them will be training, but like they're not.
Kunigami seems to be.
Yeah, Kunigami, Baro
most likely.
Baro, 100%.
Yeah.
Raichi, probably. I could see him doing it too. Any of the physical characters I could see training.
I can see Butcher like doing shit with a ball, but I wouldn't necessarily say training.
Because training, I feel like, involves physical improvement, technical playing. Butcher would just do it to do it.
Yeah, well, he'd just be like fucking around with the ball. He'd just be doing tricks on it.
Yeah, it looks like 2 tickets, so there and return ticket.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking it's a return ticket.
I'm surprised they didn't address it at all.
Yeah, he didn't. He didn't say anything. Well, he said, "Oh yeah, plane tickets."
Well, he says a plane ticket, which sounds honestly disingenuous.
It's like plane ticket, yeah.
So okay, hear me out on this. Hear me out on this theory, right? the blue. Okay, hear me on this, right? The blue lock break, right? When they had the interview was back 47 days before the World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Well, no, now my logic falls apart because of math.
Oh no.
I was gonna say, okay, because I forgot couldn't do math for a second. I'm like, well, okay, that was 45. That was 47 days away. Take 2 weeks, 14. Boom, that's 23. It's not.
That's not even
Oh,
close,
okay.
right?
Yeah, you try to get the X23.
But also, like, it could be possible. Like, Isagi does go. Isagi has these 2 weeks, and then it's wait, math. Okay, let's.
I think
if there's 45 days, then he spends 2 weeks. There'll be 31 left.
Yeah.
So then he has basically a week until it's 23. I mean, 8 days, but still.
Yeah.
I mean, being the host nation, right? This is how World Cups normally go. Being the host nation always plays the first match of the tournament. So in these 45 days, after that 45 days, Japan will be playing the first match. So there's no leeway in terms of adding an extra day. Maybe there's a ceremony or something like that. I don't know. But,
well, I mean, technically speaking, like for like specificity's sake, we don't know technically what they mean when they say it starts.
Well, it doesn't even say start. It just says 45 days until the U20 World Cup.
Yeah, so like we don't know if that means like that's when the match is starting, or if that just means when there's like the ceremony or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, aren't they on the same day, like ceremony then first game? Like how does it work?
Yeah. So normally it's like there's a big spectacle before the first game starts, like an opening ceremony, and you start with the first game straight away. It's not like Olympics where like they do a ceremony like I think like a day before or something, like a big massive ceremony. But it's like literally the first game starts off with a big massive spectacle before it. That's the regular World Cup, anyways. I don't know how U20 World Cup really works, but I imagine with the way Eagle likes to splash money, I can see him making a big deal out of it.
Yeah.
Funny enough, we didn't get to see anything about Nagi in this chapter.
Yeah, I was surprised his parents didn't say anything because he was crying and screaming. That's the last thing of the NEL that happened. He literally was crying and screaming to him, "Don't quit soccer." I'm surprised. Like, was he a friend of yours? Like, I'm surprised that anything. Instead, his dad just mocks him, talking like he did the Kaiser. Oh,
that's
a bad echo. Who's doing that?
Dedu. Check your echo settings.
They will bring BTS to dance. It's still.
That would be funny. But that's Korean. Are they not Korean? BTS.
Yeah, BTS are South Korean.
It'll have to be like a Japanese.
Dedu, your thing is horrible right now. I'm sorry.
I'm aware.
Can you
I can
hear
hear me clearer than I can hear him.
Let me see. Did you check your settings, the cog, and then check the echo, the echo thing. I don't even know what it's called.
Well, I would have done, but I'm pressing on it.
There's echo cancellation. Check that.
It's currently off, but I'm trying to turn it on. And it's not turning on.
Yeah, you're very low.
How are we clearer?
Because I'm using a pair of headphones that don't have a proper microphone.
Something to do with your headphones.
I'm using a pair of headphones that don't have a proper microphone.
Oh. Okay, but can you check? Can you check on your on your setting? Click on settings, go on audio.
I'm currently on that. I have been for the past half an hour.
Okay. What about auto gain control?
That's on.
Turn it on.
It's on.
It's on. Yeah. And echo cancellation is it on or off?
Off, but it's not letting me turn it on.
Oh, it won't let you turn it on.
Nope. It just
Okay.
surrounds everything in a nice light blue, like highlight whenever I tap it instead of turning on.
Okay. And background noise reduction.
That's on.
It's off.
On.
On. No, that's weird.
Uh-huh.
Because I can hear myself like perfectly, but I can't hear. Ooh, maybe your mic, the mic on your headphones, are they near your speakers or something?
Well, I've got it right up to my mouth now.
Okay, I can hear you a little bit better. Yeah, actually, do they twist? Are you able to turn them like the other way around, and then maybe that's
Like that?
pickup is
This?
speech.
Hello?
I mean, I can hear you a lot better, but I can still hear the echo.
Hmm.
Yeah. What we'll do is just mute yourself, and then
Hold on.
whenever you
Genius.
want to speak, just unmute.
Wait, genius plan. I'm going to do what they should do to every old age pensioner once they are no longer functional in society. I'm going to pull the plug. Works.
Oh, it's still echo.
Ugh.
That's weird. Like, why would it? It's definitely an echo cancellation thing.
That's the best I can get here.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, you'll just have to mute yourself, and then whenever you want to talk, just unmute.
Okay. Well, I'll just say my current display name is Fax. If you disagree, you're a child.
Neymar greater than or equal to Ronaldo. Yeah, I'm not going there. I ain't gonna go there.
Yeah, don't, because I will cook you more thoroughly than a rotisserie chicken.
I'm not gonna bite. But
Choice.
let's get some of these comments here. Right, so Xavier Chin says 45 days left, and I mostly think that it will be Isagi researching football. I mean, the next chapter is called X-23, which for me suggests the 23 Blue Lockers, because I really can't make a different connection for that number 23 there. But if it does suggest the 23 Blue Lockers, is it we get to see what they're doing for the next 2 weeks, or is it that we're back to the facility now? 2 weeks time skip. It, it could even be that we completely skip over what Isaki does through these 2 weeks, wherever he goes with the plane tickets. We completely skip over all that. We go back to the facility, and then we just get flashbacks of his journey throughout the matches in the World Cup. I mean, that could be a thing, but I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure if we get if the next chapter is going to be about Isagi, to be honest.
Personally, I think next chapter we're gonna jump. So X23 it's gonna cut to that many days till the U20 World Cup. Like the X23 is countdown till. So there's 23. It's just supposed to be 23 days until, and I think they're highlighting the day because the day specifically is what's going to have importance. I think that's when the plane ticket's going to be highlighted. Like Isagi is going to have his thing, going to be reviewing stuff, and then he's going to notice a plane ticket and see where it's to. And then he's on the 23rd day, he's going to go there. Assuming it is Royale, I think it'd be interesting. He goes, and then the one to meet him at the airport is Sae.
Ooh. Okay.
Like, chapter ends with Sae and his manager picking up Isagi. Like, kind of like mirroring how Sae showed up for Shino, like, yo, instead of saying like, yo, double boy, he's like, yo, what's up, Blue Lock? What's up, Blue Lock man?
That'd be sick though.
Or like, what's up, Demon King?
That'd be sick.
And he just shows up there and picks him up.
Yeah, actually, I was going to ask this, right? So you're for Sae representing Spain, right?
Yeah.
But when it's a weird one because we all think that, or maybe the 11 flags shown are where the representatives of U20 will be. But if Sae's representing Spain, then who's representing Japan as New Gen 11?
It's just their nationalities. Although this could be Sae coming back to play for Japan. X23, there's no longer 23. Instead, there's 24. This be where Sae comes back and is confirmed to play for them.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah, you might be onto something there. You might actually be onto something there. Oh.
Like, instead of X23,
it's not 23 anymore, it's 24 now, or 25. The reason why I say 25 is because Barashita wants Nagi. What's Nagi?
See, I wouldn't like them to change it from 23 because 23 has been a staple in the series.
Mm-hmm.
Like the U20 game, they had 23 people. So like, I feel like if they change it, it'd feel a little weird. But if this is how they bring Sae back, I'm like, okay, fuck it, why not?
Oh yeah, I never thought about that.
Which is gonna make me sound like a fool since I made back-to-back videos on my TikTok saying how Sae will not play for Japan. So if he does, I'm going to seem like a fool.
But I'm saying, why would he need to participate though?
What do you mean?
What he's saying? Why would?
No, I'm saying, like, why would he need to participate in it?
Well, it's not that he needs to; it's that he is. Henri confirmed it.
No, I can hear y'all find us right now. I'm just
delayed?
I'm assuming.
Yeah, I think delayed. Suki said, "I heard Sae."
You did.
Yeah, no, actually, that might be it. X23, no longer 23 players. I don't know. That'd be sick though. So Vincenzo,
I think it's the only way I would be okay with them doing it, rather than just like coming back. Like, oh, now you have it like this. But even then, I don't know if I would want Sae back fully.
Yeah, because it kind of like takes away from the other midfielders and like Hiyori's progression and stuff like that.
What do you mean, Vincenzo, about like what they did with X23?
It says maybe next chapter they will do an experience on Nagi like they did with Wolverine. Experiment. He meant an experiment on Nagi like they did with Wolverine. That's why the next chapter could be X23. Because I'm pretty sure X23 is either... It's got something to do with Wolverine. I'm pretty sure it's Wolverine, the female Wolverine, the little kid. I'm pretty sure her code name is X23.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's I think he's making a joke on that.
I do think this is how Sae could come back though. Like have it be not 23 anymore, it's 24.
Yeah. I mean, Because the thing is, right? I know Sae, he doesn't rate Japan, right?
He doesn't like it.
Yeah.
He doesn't rep them.
Yeah. But the rest of his new gen compatriots, colleagues, or whatever you want to call them, they're gonna be repping their
countries,
their countries. So I feel like he has to be involved somehow.
Well, he is. Well, he's in the U20 World Cup. Like, that's not debate. Like Henri said verbatim, all the new Gen 11s have gathered.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't even know how they get him in there, but it is weird that we've not seen him in this chapter.
We haven't seen him at all. Like,
yeah,
it's weird, especially with like at the interview. I'm surprised no one ever said we're getting a matchup with a rematch of the Itoshi brothers. But we got like Rin and Loki and Lorenzo name drop, and we saw Kaiser and we saw Loki. Like, what about Sae?
Yeah, like in the last 2 chapters, we've not really had any mention of Sae or anything like that. Like, not even the Blue Lock is getting excited, or maybe Sae is gonna be on their team or something. Like, you'd think someone would say something, especially Rin. We've not seen much of Rin either in the last 2 chapters. Only him standing, like a bodyguard behind Henri.
Yeah, I'm a little honestly. Is it weird? I'm a little shocked that we haven't gotten anything for Reo.
I think the Reo thing bleeds into the U20 matches, the World Cup matches. I can, like I said before, I can really see Reo fucking up a little bit during matches. Being in his head, playing selfishly, not passing, not coordinating properly, until he finally gets over his Nagi trauma.
Well, that's what Nagi told him to do. Like, listen, you could become the world's best on your own. So he's just gonna go play on his own.
Yeah, but I don't think he just does it like on the click of a button. I don't think he does it straight away. I think it's more a case of a slow progression back into playing independently. Because if you think about it, Reo's never actually played without Nagi in his life, has he?
Well, second selection, but
Yeah,
of playing without him.
Apart from the selections in Blue Lock, but Nagi's always been in the general vicinity.
Yeah.
So it'll be an experience for him the first time, and I can just see him like being in his head to begin with. And
I think he'll be a starter in the first game, though.
Really?
Yeah, like.
Okay.
I want to see him and Shido together again.
Yeah, I don't.
Shido was the closest thing to Nagi in Blue Lock, so having.
Yeah, I don't see him as a starter though. To be fair, I don't see it.
I see him playing though.
Yeah, for sure. But that's what I mean. Like I can see him playing, but to be fair, if he starts, that's even better for my theory, because I can see him starting, but not really getting into the game much. Not really affecting the game positively. Maybe even affecting it negatively and getting taken off, and then not coming back on until a later game, maybe the second, third game, where he can actually make a positive impact. Because I don't know how I'd feel if we just see Reo balling out, no Nagi, like, as if like nothing's actually happened. Because these two were tight. There's got to be some kind of residue there, some kind of trauma response there.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I want to see Ryo work through it somehow.
Vincenzo said, "What kind of videos did Ego send to Rin?"
This is brother.
Suki said, "How to get over brother issues."
I don't think he sent anything to Rin.
No, I don't think so. I think Isagi is literally the only one that received a bunch of tapes.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
I really do think he's the only one, because the rest of them really, it looked like they just gave their letters.
Mm-hmm.
You want to say something?
Is there echo now?
There still is.
Oh, okay. I'm just recycling through different headphones, seeing if any of them are like better or worse than the others.
I think that the echo thing is to do with the echo cancellation.
I know, but there's nothing I can do about that, so might as well like do a bit of trial and error to see if at least something is better.
Yeah.
Ew, why are these ones sticky? What the hell? Ugh. That is disgusting.
Someone was having some fun.
With the headphones? But
okay.
Let me think. I will say this: I do think Isagi is the only one who got the package, though. Like, I also think this is what's going to make Isagi the captain.
What about
I think this is solid evidence.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh no, now I can't hear anything. Okay.
Fix one problem, and another one pops up.
You say you also think Isagi is going to be the captain?
Yeah.
I'm unsure, but I do lean towards it because of the way they're pushing Isagi. Like, Isagi front and center of this whole thing.
Well, yeah, like if Isagi wasn't the captain, why would he be why is he the only person to get the stuff?
Yeah, but this is my thing though. This stuff seems more geared towards a playmaker, a midfielder.
No, it's just honing game-changing moments. He's wanting to understand what makes a game-changing moment to then position himself in ways that he can score off those. Like, Izagi's biggest thing now is that he doesn't create the game-changing moments. He just hopes they happen.
Yeah.
Like, look at, like, with Hiyori and Kunigami. He's drawing them out, sure, but he's not 100% confident they're going to do these things.
Yeah.
Like, Isagi just ran. He wasn't even looking at Hiyori. I think the issue that Isagi needs to do is that he needs to know when to fully maximize his effectiveness. Like with Isagi and Hiyori, they weren't looking at each other. Isagi just took off and was hoping the pass would happen. I think Isagi needs to understand the exact play that makes him 100% confident that this is happening. To literally bend the field to his will. He wants to score. He's going to understand every play and move himself to create these meta points that he sees with his meta vision. Like, Isagi was just seeing the game-changing moments before. Like, he was seeing the things that he needs to move into. But I want Isagi to create these moments for himself. Like, Isagi can understand the current context of the field, right? And he positioned himself in the meta points. Yeah. Those meta points were pre-established. Have Isagi move and act in ways that create meta points for other people to see and interpret. Like, Isagi's creating the meta points that Karasu, Nico, Hiyori, Aiku, they can see and understand. Let him create those plays.
Okay.
Let him be a playmaker and a goal scorer at the same time.
Okay, so whilst he was watching the videos, he mentioned like trapping and what was it? Trapping and passing.
Yeah, so, trapping, passing, ball control.
So do you reckon we get an indirect shot from Isagi at any point?
I think there's two things I could see from Isagi. Number one is Isagi learning how to do a self-assisted direct shot.
Okay.
Like, Isagi, he can only make direct shots, right? But he needs a pass to make them happen. What if he gets a ball? Okay, look at the latest chapter. Do you see how Amar trapped the ball?
Yeah.
And he's holding the ball? What if he puts his foot in front of it and rainbow flicks it up to himself? That's essentially setting himself up for a direct shot.
I think it's sort of what he tried to do in
Ubers. Yeah, exactly. But like he was only doing that through a pass. I mean, like if the ball is stationary, if he rainbow flicks, he doesn't need a pass anymore to make direct shots. He can create them himself.
True.
But also, if you look at how if you look at the highlighting from all the previous games, Snuffy, Kaiser, Noah, Reen, all their styles target balance. Reen with his destroy mode crashing into people from a lower perspective to throw them off balance. Right? Kaiser, his Kaiser impact is a perfect balance of his body to create the shot. Noah is a perfect balance of his physical body to use his ambidexterity on either side of his body 100% of the time. Snuffy, exquisite ball control, using his balance to keep possession. Isagi learns better ball touch technique and to set himself up for direct shots. He learns to do that. He is a complete striker. He doesn't need passes anymore.
Yeah.
You give him the ball. He doesn't have insane dribbling, but he can assist himself up in for direct shots. Like,
yeah, I always thought Isagi's next thing, right? I always thought his next evolution would involve him being more competent as a dribbler. Simply because, but this was a thought I had prior to the PXG match. Simply because he would always try to run the offense on his own. So I thought the only way he can really do that is if he gets a lot better at his dribbling, not Bachelor style dribbling where you're taking off
standard
stuff like that.
Standard
Yeah,
basic. But then again, that just goes down to ball control, like ball touch, like how well he can control the ball at his feet. He doesn't need to be like Bachata and dribble through people. He just needs to, if he gets the ball, can he actively set himself up for a shot?
Yeah.
Because like Isagi, here's the thing. This is why I look at like Isagi and Shido. Shido doesn't need dribbling because his style relies on pass.
Yeah.
But even Shido himself doesn't really seem like he sets himself up for shots anymore. Isagi, he gets the ball out of the thing. He's using his metavision to manipulate the field so he can kind of do what Shido does. He doesn't have the extreme physical abilities to do that, so he manipulates people and draws them in with passes in short range, short passes like Planet Hotline to get himself where he needs to be. Like, he doesn't dribble, but he uses Corona as a post player. He sends him the ball. Isagi can move forward and then get the ball right back from him. If Isagi simply just learns how to control the ball better, he can continue to do that. But if he gets into a spot where he has the ball and he can't just like shoot it on the ground, because he still has control of it, if he can rainbow flick it, he can set himself up for either direct shot.
Yeah,
he's not reliant on a pass anymore.
Yeah, for sure. He's gonna need to up the variety of his shooting angles.
Yeah, because like if it's gonna be weird, because if you look at it like go to chapter 257 where he scores the twin gun volley, right?
Yeah, one sec.
How it looks is that the pass came from Hiyori, right? Isagi breaks through, Kunigami heads it, and then it looks like the ball is there for a while, right? But it's not. The ball is still falling. So Reen and Kaiser show up right after the hit. So the ball itself is still a pass. It's still a direct shot. It's not like a rolling ball that he fakes out when he traps it or anything. It's just as soon as it drops, he does the 2-gun. If you take
257.
So if he can get into a situation where like someone does try to block him, sure, he can fake it out. But if he gets to the spot where it's a controlled on the ground ball, let him have a way to set himself up for a direct shot. Yeah. I think that would be the best thing for him.
I hear you.
I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah, I just thought like with all the tapes he's gonna be watching, is that not just gonna make him a better playmaker, like a better midfielder?
Well, it makes him a playmaker in the sense of he knows how to manipulate the field, but he still is gonna score goals in the end. Like that does just because he can make plays with people doesn't necessarily make him a good. If he's a great midfielder, that's awesome. But that doesn't mean that he's not a good striker because he can play make.
Yeah, that's true. Well, what do you think, Daddy?
What about what Isagi's like next stage in development is?
Yeah.
Well, what I'm thinking is obviously we only saw that Isagi was getting like videos and stuff. So what I was thinking is that instead of like Isagi, like only Isagi got like some special form of training and that. Instead, what each letter to each Blue Locker proposed was different methods of training specific for them. Because we can see this in the fact that Isagi got videos. He learns by like watching the field and like adapting to their play, which is something he can easily do off the field by watching replays. So perhaps like what we're seeing from Isagi is only one aspect of what Ego is training the Blue Lockers to improve upon, like what Ero was talking about. But instead, it's given in different ways to each different player, and we just haven't been shown them yet.
Yeah,
so,
and that's
do you think
kind of
any
what
other players
this
got
2-week break is going to be about.
Do you think any other players got tapes? Also, we're not on a break week, so we'll get another chapter. Come Monday night again.
No,
Monday
I mean
morning.
the 2-week break until the World Cup.
No, I mean like, okay. Do you think? But I was saying like, do you have an idea of anyone else who got like something similar to Isagi? Like, do you think like Nico, for example, got videotapes as well?
Maybe Nico, Karasu. He already.
Yeah, they could have done because they are
a perfect person.
Players that we haven't seen yet. Like a similar thing with Reo as well, who thrives best from like adapting his body and stuff. Something that would also be done by watching like compilations and stuff. Like get him to watch like some top players or whatever and see them doing what they do best, and having Reo kind of like imitate it in his backyard for the next 2 weeks.
I disagree
a
little bit.
Everyone comes back from their own specialized training better and more equipped.
Like, I disagree slightly. I don't think Reo was assigned to watch anyone. I think he was just assigned to continue like training like his muscles. Like, really? Reo showed that his new awakening when he plays by himself, he doesn't need to watch people over and over again. He can just see it once. Like, it's more in line. He needs to see it in person. So I don't think tapes are going to be enough, because even when Reo watched all the game footage, he was only able to copy Aiku and Neo after seeing them in person. So
yeah, but the thing is also another thing is that if it's seeing them in person and seeing them like over the tape, like the only thing that really matters on whether you can like imitate someone effectively or not is the distance of which you can see them, because then that manipulates the amount of details that one can comprehend because of like the human variation of like render distance. We've seen Reo copy Aiku, where Reo would have been all the way on the bench looking on the field, where he wouldn't have even gotten a very good look at it. Like you would have seen like it better over footage than from that distance. Like we also saw when he pulled off Nagi's lift tap, he also would have been on the bench looking on at the field from quite a distance away, something that would be again easier seen over tape. So he's still seeing the same thing, but it would be easier through that sense because Reo has proven the ability to be able to mimic people from observing them from farther distances away, whether or not he's seeing them in person or not.
Yeah, but there is that point as well. But I think it also aligns with have you heard the saying that seeing it is better than just seeing it in person is a whole new experience? Like, even if there's a distance, like take like going to like a wonder of the world. I can look up a picture of the Great Pyramids, but seeing it in person is a whole other different experience. To that, I think it could relate some way to Reo. And like he did, yeah, sure, he copied Nagi's lift trap, right? But seeing it in person, even if he's that far, it doesn't have too much of a factor because of what happened with Atoya. Atoya intercepted their pass, broke past numerous people, and then scored. He was still far away on the goal. He was still far away. Sure, he was on the pitch, but they were still a decent distance away from each other. Like,
yeah, but the reason like the wonders of the world thing the reason why it feels better to see it in person is due to a psychological effect known as catharsis, which is like how you feel like after you've witnessed something. Like you see it in person and you get that sense of catharsis and you're just like, oh my God, like I'm actually looking at the pyramids of Giza. This is actually so incredible. It's like a psychological effect. It induces a certain feeling. It doesn't
really use that
really.
argument though for Reo. He has that same. Watching it, he doesn't get the same psychological understanding and feeling.
I don't understand how catharsis can really link with kinesthetic adaptability though, because what his does is follows like observation in its own like natural sense. Like having a sense of catharsis doesn't mean I'm looking at, like my eyesight doesn't improve when I'm looking at the pyramids of Giza in person compared to an image. It's the sense of presence that's there. It doesn't help you see it better, but it's like just a psychological inducement rather than any like observational enhancements. Like his observational skills will not change.
Well, that's the thing with Ryo's copying, is that it's less about the eyes and more about his brain. It's more about his brain and physical abilities. Sure, he has to see them, but his eyes really don't matter too much in the grand scheme of him copying someone.
Well,
sure,
yes, it does, because if he's copying someone even to 99% efficiency, he still has to observe all of these minute details. Like a regular person, even with like 20/20 vision, can't copy somebody like that. Like, yeah, it takes Reo's ability to like imitate them, but he can't like imitate them unless he has that like inhuman level of observational skills to be able to match their movements and then template that onto his like own ability, which is why like what we see in episode Nagi when he copies Bushido, which is like a physical skill, which we thought before then was pretty much impossible other than Nagi, also shows that it's not too much of a physical limitation, but rather either what Reo's mentality like pushes him to be able to do, and how much focus that he has, which would stem from his ability to observe the person that he is copying. And that's what allows him to reproduce it to such high levels, because he's able to notice all the minute details in their movements and not just the overall thing as a whole. He's able to just decompose it more. And that would come from his mental processes, which stems from his observations. And then what he does is that after he breaks down those movements, he can then incorporate them into his own movements through the kinesthetic adaptability. And then through his own like natural body kinesthetics, he's then able to reproduce it. It's a multi-stage process, which all stems from his ability to observe the person he's copying.
See, you made a very good point, and I also want to bring up the Shido thing because you just kind of made my argument a little easier in regards to it. The thing was, Reo could do it. Reo could do it. Sure, he's seen it, but his physical abilities were able to do it. It was his mental thing keeping him from doing so. Like, the mental psychology keeping him from pushing himself to that limit. He can see it, sure, but his vision isn't necessarily like... he has metavision. I'm not denying he has metavision. He has great vision. But the vision is less of the important thing, is he sees it, but he understands it. Hold up 1 second. I got something to do real quick. I'll be back.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, so is your position Reo should be looking at tapes?
Yeah, because again, like I think the most I can see like a catharsis effect taking place is Reo's ability to retain this information. Because again, like after he performs it, he still has to remember it. He still has to dedicate it to his memory, which catharsis does help because we remember stuff that we have a stronger emotional attachment to, because we encode that information semantically, which like kind of ingrains it in our long-term memory better than if we're retaining it like iconically or echoically, which is just through the senses. So while I can see like Reo seeing it in person helping him for retaining that information long term because of that effect, with these videos, which he can see over and over again, he wouldn't need any of that effect. He can just, like, if he's able to copy it once through iconic and echoic encoding, and then be able to reproduce it. He can still like watch over these videos multiple times to be able to retain the movements semantically and perform them more in the future. So that's like the most I can see, like seeing it in person being better than seeing it over a tape. But that's really the only extension that I can see it pushing to.
I do have a question. Have we ever seen Reo copy someone by looking at tapes, or has everyone he's copied been someone he's been on the pitch with?
It's a mix of both. So it's the only one you can say is Yukimiya's gyro shot, because we got the day. Well, it's hard to make the case for Yukimiya because that was the first time playing with Yukimiya. So we can one can argue that it was the first time playing. He didn't know anything about him. He saw it and then he did it. But another one could say, well, they were on well, actually, no. You could also argue, all the tapes were available in the second selection for Reo to view over for like Nagi's performances. So it's likely that he viewed over all the top 6 as well. But I would argue that it's more likely that he just improv copied it in the same way that he did with Atoya.
Yeah. See, because I can't remember a copy of Reo's that we could actually say that must be from footage he's watched, because all Blue Lockers have access to footage.
Yeah, the U20 is the only one I think you could make. The U20, Rant and Sae, you make your best argument from, since Sae obviously wasn't there. Rant was in a different stratum. They likely reviewed old footage to have Reo refine his style of wanting to copy Rant and Sae, and then going into the U20 game, Reo was told to review the footage for the U20 team. But that was also because he was set to be a center back going into the game.
But with that one again, because we didn't actually see him produce any of those copies until he was on the pitch. It's really a dicey one, because I reckon Reo's the type that only copies things he's seen in person.
Yeah, but what like consistent opportunities has he gotten to copy from like a videotape? Because obviously we've got stuff in the third selection and second selection where it was
who has he
possible
gotten the
to
option?
do
Wait,
such
who
a
has he
thing.
who has he gotten the option to copy people from, like watching tapes, or
like Kaiser? Like he could have copied Kaiser.
He's copied Rant and Sae through videotapes. Well, he copied mostly Sae.
He's played with Rant and Sae.
We haven't seen him copy anyone who wasn't on, like who he hasn't played with. He hasn't copied anyone who he hasn't played with.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Like we've not seen him. We've not seen him copy anyone where we can verbatim say he's never played with that player before, so he must have copied that from watching tapes. Because even Sae, he's played on the same pitch as Sae. Obviously he copied IQ from watching him do that move before he was on the pitch. But again, it's a case of he's seen that in person. It's not like he watched the tapes. He's seen that in person. So all the copies I can remember Reo doing have been of players he stood on the pitch with.
Yeah, but we also haven't gotten a statement saying that he can't copy people that he hasn't seen.
Yeah, but that's not a fair argument. That's just being facetious at that point. Oh, well, it doesn't say he can't, so it doesn't say you can't.
It was never said that he couldn't do it, but it's also never been said that he could. So it's really just an area that's just open to interpretation, because you can't like say, oh, well, we've only ever seen people copy people that he's seen and use that as evidential proof that he can't do it over clips, because we haven't gotten anything definitive stating that he can't. But we also haven't seen him copy anybody consistently off just a clip to be able to say that he can. So it's an area for interpretation until we get confirmation of that.
It's still being facetious. I can argue a point better in saying that Reo, the more prominent factor is seeing it in person as opposed to video. Sure, if Reo just got it off the video, I can make an argument to say that Reo was more likely to copy someone better and easier and have just a more accurate copy in general by seeing them in person versus online. on videos, since Reo has been able to perform 99% copies by only seeing it in person. Are you going to tell me that seeing it online is going to give him the same result as seeing it in person?
There's a possibility. Again, like I said, there's no evidence whether he can or can't, so you can't make it definitive. It can easily just be talked down by Hitchens' razor. Something that can be stated without proof can be denied without proof either. So again, you cannot make anything definitive from it. So whether you see it as facetious or not, the point still remains.
You can make an inference based on evidence we have to support one point versus another. We've seen more evidence to say that Reo can copy someone just from seeing someone, and through experience, you can see something online. Doesn't mean you can do it. Like, okay, let's say Reo watched a bunch of Haikyuu, right? Are you telling me he's gonna be able to go out and do some crazy shit like people in Haikyuu can do based off of pure technique, like Bokuto's crazy cut shot? Is he going to? Would you assume he's going to have a more accurate copy based on what we've seen from Reo do, simply based off of watching videos, versus him playing against or with Bokuto? Would he have a more accurate copy of Bokuto's cut shot if he saw it on a video or saw it in person? Which would be a more accurate copy?
Again, I don't know. You tell me. What do you think?
I'm telling you what I think. I think it would be more. I think based on the evidence we have for Reo, it would be a more accurate copy of seeing it in person, as we've seen Reo perform 99% copies simply with him doing it in person.
But you don't have evidence of him doing better or worse via a clip.
With clip and with seeing it in person, it creates the 99%. If I see him doing 99% with just in person, I have more justification to say, okay, he does it with this, we have nothing for this, therefore I can argue this point because there's more evidence backing this side versus this.
Well, no, because until you get a Reo in-person copy versus a Reo media or just online copy, you cannot say which one is better or which one is worse. You can make an inference, like...
That's what it is, an inference
about it, just because you've seen him do it based off of observing on purpose in person. So you can make the case that it's going to be better when he sees it in person because he's shown to be able to do it in person. But again, that's just
hold up. I think I do have evidence. So there was let me pull this up. So have you heard of the Mikage Reo light novel?
No.
Okay. So there was a bunch of light novels that come out. So like it's before Blue Lock. So you'll have ones for like Isagi, Bachara, Chigiri, Kunigami, Nico, Hiyori, and Karasu, and then Reo. Have you heard of like those ones at all?
Can I have the Hiyori one?
I've heard of the Karasu one.
And then give me the Karasu one so I can like online burn it.
They're together. They're the ones together. So it looks like this.
Karasu doesn't have his own. His is with Hiyori.
Yeah, it's Deru, are you in the Discord server?
Yes.
Yes. Well, I'm making sure because I'm sending the thing there in the general chat.
Nice.
Do you see this? I'm sending you here. This is they come out with short light novel stories for each of the characters.
Cool.
And you'll get images like this within the light novel. There's one for Reo. In Reo's light novel, it was stated that he was taking just inferences of Noa for his shooting, but it was still a drastically worse version. Granted, it's a much bigger scale. He's copying Noa, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's still a reference of we've seen a video, and it still doesn't compare at all in reference to one versus the other.
It's a very...
Granted, it is. I'm admitting that now, but it's the only evidence we have of video only copy versus in-person copy closest to the thing. It's still inaccurate fully. I'm saying that, but I'm just putting it out there. That's the only evidence I can think of at the moment we have of a strictly video copy. I'm not making it not saying it to enhance my point, just putting it out there.
Yeah, because I would say like this is a Reo before any training, before realizing his ability, with a better copy than any other player that he's ever tried to do it with before. Like Noa absolutely curb stomps the Itoshi brothers in terms of like technique and the complexity of his style. And this is a Reo who's far inferior to the one we see in the Neo Egoist League, copying the Itoshi brothers and being able to do that to 99%. And even then, Noa still destroying the Itoshi brothers, so he's unable to copy them.
Yeah.
But still, the fact that he's able to comprehend these movements in the first place, to be able to at least copy them to a minimal degree with no real physical training, no realization of his abilities, and no real experience of past copying. It shows that with these like clips by themselves, he can still incorporate these movements into a style with no experience or conditioning. So once you apply this extra experience he has, his extra physical training, the realization of his skills, then it's very obvious that his copying from just a clip, like let's just paste over this Noa clip that we're using from the example in the light novel, Reo would be able to do an exponentially better job because he has that experience, realization, and conditioning. It's just a natural presentation of progress. So we know that he can do it. He's been able to do it since before he even joined Blue Lock. So it only speaks to volume of how good it can be after he's gone through all of this process. There's no guarantee whether it would be worse or better than an in-person one, but it shows that he's capable of both. We've just seen copying off clips before training and copying in person after training. So they're not comparable enough to get a definitive answer, but it shows that he is capable of displaying both to some degree.
Sorry, 1 second.
Okay.
There is, let me ask you. So Reo's inherent ability is natural dexterity, right? And he leverages his dexterity to copy people. Can we agree that's how Reo uses his ability?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's how it's stated.
Yeah. I think it's stated in chapter 105 or 106. Whenever Isagi and Anase and Hiyori are talking about his chameleon weapon.
Mm-hmm.
For that, if you were just taking a general scope, you're saying while Reo's natural dexterity is definitely more advanced than most people, would you say it still follows normal premises of being dexterous? So like in real world, if you're being dexterous and you're dexterous IRL, would you say that's just slightly more advanced in Blue Lock or more emphasized? I can reword it if it needs to be reworded.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay. So I'll just get to my point here. Reo, his dexterity is a little more exaggerated in Blue Lock as opposed to the real world. However, it still follows the natural premises of being dexterous.
Makes sense. Like, I'm pretty sure Blue Lock is a verse that is bound by logical means.
So would you be more inclined to say Reo would follow the majority of people who are naturally dexterous IRL in normal behavior habits for copying people?
You could say, like, yeah, habitually so. You can make that inference because of Blue Lock's realistic aspect, minus all the crazy monsters and stuff.
Yeah, aside from the demons they're pulling out on the field.
Yeah. But it's very clear that Blue Lock, being fiction, has these logical means, but they're obviously like drastically like buffed, like exponentially, because it's fiction, it's natural.
Yeah.
So we can assume that Reo goes by logical means, but to a far greater value than any normal person is capable of.
Yeah, but still follows through logical processes, right?
Yeah, to a good extent.
Okay. So I did some research. I'm making this point because it's fun. I think it's a fun debate we're having. When I did some research, looking at stats of people learning to do something through online videos and online schooling versus in-person schooling and in-person teaching, the majority of individuals showed higher results in replicating and understanding formulas, for example, through math, while having in-person education. Same thing applies through like reading, science, other core subjects in school. Would it not be more in line to also apply that to sports and saying that someone would be easier to understand, comprehend, and then execute themselves a formula if they see it in person as opposed to just a video based on just the vast majority scope of individuals, comparing that to Blue Lock like we just did?
Yeah, you can make that case, but obviously there's quite a few differences between the study that you're referencing and the practical application that Reo utilizes. For example, this study is following your ability to integrate knowledge from core subjects like your example of maths. So trying to make like maths and football like comparable like subjects isn't too like reliable. But you can also make the case that Reo does have that ability to learn like that because of his test scores. Like he's always scoring the highest in the school.
Yeah.
So you can say like
smart.
he follows that mental dexterity well, and you can make that application between his test scores and this study. However, obviously Reo's copying ability in football would not be the same as him being able to mentally like retain and essentially like copy the information he's learned like onto a test paper or just like copy the formulas and whatever, because obviously it's the difference between mental application and physical application. Like he'd retain the information the same way, which is why I said like seeing it in person would be better for him being able to replicate it in the future. Like he could be able to, yeah, like what he showed in the Manshine game where he still managed to copy Aiku's snake defense a decent amount of time after the U20 game, because perhaps seeing it in person with that enhanced like encoding effects, like easy to remember, allows him to apply it to that same degree later on in the future, which would also link into his retention of his academic scores, being able to score so highly because he's great at retaining the information in person. However, again, when it comes to applying it like in the moment and just being able to improv copy in a sense, or just see a video and then just like apply it once on the field, like what he did with Noah, just watched the clips and just did it because why the hell not, rather than seeing it, performing it, retaining it, performing it again.
Yeah. There's a little bit of context I will give for the Noah copy. Whether it helps my point or not, I think it's good to establish this. So Reo was put into a simulation very similar to like what they did for like the Bass Dimension team in the NEL. Reo was put into a game that was set to the highest difficulty. And he was watching a bunch of pro soccer players consistently. So he tried to look for. It says the soccer pros rushed forward at once, but Ryo calmly watched their movements and looked for a shot course to shoot the ball like Noah did. Ryo's shot broke through the tiny gap between the defenders. The ball grazed the fingertips of the goalie and entered as if it were sucked into it. And this is stated that it took Ryo 1,000 attempts to complete, simply watching videos. Sure, he's not copying it through like the same power or anything, but in terms of just technical ability, which is what Ryo's excelling at copying as opposed to physical, because like, would you argue that it's more in line to say that it's a technical skill to be able to hit through people rather than like a power or physical skill? Because I would align it's more technique.
Yeah, it's technical.
Yeah, because the copy would like best retain Ryo's ability to influence the movements of the player onto himself, but it doesn't mean that he can control the environmental factors like how the ball's coming at him, where the defenders are, etc., etc. So yeah, this like 1,000 attempts to complete the shot, like doesn't mean that it took him 1,000 attempts to get the technique down, but it took him 1,000 attempts to have the technique down and have the right environmental factors to be able to pull it off. But also what the media thing, the clip thing, and performing it after 1,000 takes shows is that before his training, before the conditioning, and before he was able to realize this ability, his retention of information was supposedly stronger from seeing it in person compared to seeing it through clips, just like the retaining of that information, because we have the extra like evidence from his test scores.
I would still align with his actions. I would say it like this: if you were to compare strictly copying a video versus in person, I would say copying a video gives him like 25% copy. In person gives him 40 to 50. However, I would say in order for Ryo to successfully get as close to 99% as possible, he would need video, then video followed by in-person viewing. Would you?
Or maybe the other way
agree to that?
around with his Sae copying, because he would have seen him in person and then copied the video. So
Yeah, but I also relate it to still being worse. Because if you take like Rain's action, the copy of Rain, Gagamaru blocked it and said no, Rain's was better. Like he's saying there's still an active gap where copying other players to 99% is something that he was capable of doing. Like copying Aiku, he was stated verbatim that he copied Aiku to 99% from watching and then executing. I don't know if it's regards to the technique, but performing the cross Elastic Nutmeg, I feel, is a little less insane for Ryo to copy as opposed to Aiku's physical jump and interception. Especially since it's more aligned with physical talent as opposed to technical skill, which Ryo personally is more highlighted in technical ability. So I would say video then copy is going to give you a higher percentage than a video in person going to give you a 99% copy than in person to video, simply because you watch all the videos and then you see it in person. You have the better understanding than seeing it in person and then going through to more understand it. If you try to understand the concepts of it and then you see it in person, I feel like that's going to be way more. It's like studying and then studying, seeing the test, taking the test, then like seeing the test, studying, and whatever. You know what I mean? Oh, I guess it's not really. It's kind of the inverse. I guess would be the other way around. I think you'll get the point I'm making with this.
I think I got it. Maybe.
Yeah. I still would say that Ryo's copies are better just by viewing as opposed to watching alone. That's what I would just say.
So you're saying it's like better in person than watching?
Go again.
What's up, Sugi?
You're saying that it's better to watch it in person better than the clips, right?
No, I'm saying it's better. Well, I'd say at a base, if you're picking one or the other, I would say it's better for Ryo to watch it in person. But I would say if he wants to have the best copy overall, watching videos and then copying in person.
Oh yeah, for sure. I was just confused between the two.
To get the best copy. That's what I think.
Fair.
Something. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, my mic wasn't okay. Something I wanted to add was reviewing like footage versus actual game has always been like a thing in Blue Lock, where when anybody compares the real thing to the footage is always worse. Like for example, when Neru Tepe was tracking Yuki was faster in person than he was on the footage. And it's a constant thing throughout all of Blue Lock, like comparing footage to the real thing. So I know that Reo is special when it comes to this, but I think the basic fundamental rules still apply of watching a video is worse than actually seeing it in person.
Yeah. Yeah, I really do think that so far the suggestion in the narrative is that Reo tends to copy what he sees with his own eyes rather than what he's reviewed. Because I'm pretty sure everyone had access to all the footage in the second selection, third selection.
I believe so.
And definitely in the NEL, they all had access to that footage, but we've never seen Reo just copy someone that he's never been on the same pitch as.
Right. Even Karasu had to admit that playing against the U20s was different than watching them on tape. That he finally got a grasp of how they played.
Yeah, yeah. So I do reckon this whole Isagi watching tape thing isn't for necessarily for him to copy plays, but it's more for him to change the way he plays. And I feel like we've seen a huge shift in the way Isagi plays anyways throughout the NEL, where he started out doing the most on the pitch, defending, playmaking, scoring. Well, he started scoring towards the end, but he started out doing all the defensive work, Manshine stopping Chris Prince, stopping Nagi, stopping Reo. Then he would literally do break through the whole midfield, the whole team to try and get a goal with Corona. And then as they progressed through the NEL, so the Ubers match, it seemed he did a little bit less of the breaking through the teams, a little bit less of the defending, although he did stop Barrow a couple of times, like a lot. And then you get to the PSG match where I feel like he literally didn't really try to play make as much. He left all the playmaking to the Kuronas and the Hioris, and he literally played more as a striker in that match. And I feel like there's we're gearing towards an evolution in the way that Isagi plays, where he might not actually be that prominent in a match anymore, and instead just be a moments player where he'll pop up in the right moment, in the clutch moments, similar to the end of the match against the U20 team. What do you guys think?
I think like the transition between Isagi being more reserved and then being more like prominent in the attacking sense is because of the like altering dynamic between him and Kaiser. Because we see like at the start, Kaiser is the main striker. Everything goes through him. So Isagi is more of a reserved role. Like you want your like main offensive threat to be high up the pitch, whereas like a secondary one would be more defensive. Like the example, the IRL example I'll use is mid 2010s Barca when you had Messi, Suarez, Neymar up front. What it was is that obviously it was a 4-3-3 on paper, but on defense it transitioned to a 4-4-2, where Messi would join Suarez up front and Neymar would drop to the midfield. Now, obviously, for that Barca, everything went through Messi, best player in the world, so you want him to be up top. Neymar was kind of his second fiddle, the second man, so you would have him dropping into that bank of four in the 4-4-2 to do more defensive work because he's the less prominent offensive threat. So I think what it is that Isagi plays that more defensive role because he isn't the main attacking threat.
Yeah.
But as he evolves to rival and surpass Kaiser, he becomes that more prominent attacking role he kind of forces himself to be. Because more evidence of this is the reverse effect being on Kaiser. At the start, you don't see him doing a lot of defending because he's up top, going up with Ness and scoring goals. You don't see too much defending unless he's like trying to bash up with some pros and stuff. But as we see later on, especially in the PXG game where Isagi truly put himself front and center in the team, do we see Kaiser doing a lot more defensive work as he's being usurped. So it's kind of like a seesaw in a way. You've got originally like Kaiser at the top of the seesaw doing all the main attacking work where whereas you've got Isagi on the lower side doing the more deeper defensive work. But as the NEO has progressed, that seesaw has kind of balanced out a bit, with Isagi getting higher and Kaiser getting lower. Kind of as you see their dynamic shift as Isagi involves and rivals Kaiser. Rather than just like solely his style of play changing, because we see it in like the third selection where Isagi is trying to like get into positions to get the goal rather than wanting to build it up, which is why like you see him trying to like partner up with Hiyori initially, where Hiyori passes to him to get the goals. But instead, due to him not being the main attacking threat, that being Shido and Rin, he's mainly reserved to a more like reserved role where he doesn't have that kind of power. And in a position like where he does was their first game in the second selection, where it was him, Butcher, and Nagi, where Isagi was the strongest defensive threat, which is why he was the one on the more like tip of the triangle, you could say. He was the one looking to get him behind and get the goals. He was the main offensive threat. So he does have a more like higher roll up rather than a deeper one like Bachara, who was like a playmaker and not the prominent attacking force, if that makes sense.
I'll say this though, I think Isagi not being central focus would be a very bad decision. Not just from like a writing thing, because I think I would love to see other characters get the spotlight, but I think just how the players act, they need him. A lot of the strongest players on Blue Lock are restrictive types. So take Rin, Kunigami, and Bado, 3 really powerful players, for instance. They need restriction. Rin and Bado, your 2 other strongest attackers in Blue Lock, the Blue Lock project, they need restriction to function. If you have Isagi being the central header, you give Rin and Bado that restriction to function their best. Because neither of them play their best with freedom. Have Isagi up the front, force them to play a secondary role, which causes them to then usurp Isagi and take that role. For a moment.
And then Isagi adapts to them to fight them back.
Exactly. Like, Isagi not being the central focus takes out a lot of strength for other people. Because Isagi being a freedom type, he isn't giving restriction to other freedom types. Like, look at Shigiri and Shido and Hiyori. Izagi's presence doesn't restrict them at all with how they play. But look at I don't know if this is confirmed. Nagi, he's another good restrictive type. From how it seems, he functions better when he's put into a position of pressure, or challenge to overcome, or something to surpass. Give like Nagi, Bado, and Rin situations alongside Isagi, they're going to perform their best because Isagi is adapting and taking the spotlight of center stage because of the freedom he functions well in. And they don't restrict Isagi. Like, restricted types don't restrict other people. Freedom types give restriction to others who are restrictive types, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, freedom types impact restrictive types. Restrictive types don't impact freedom types. Negatively, I guess, is the way to look at it like that, because they just highlight each other. And if you take Isagi out, you're taking away your strongest elements for offense. Just like
he's like the catalyst that unlocks.
Exactly. That's the greatest thing for Isagi. He acts as a catalyst for the whole game.
So would you have Isagi playing solely a striking role or a link-up man?
If it were me, I'd probably put him as offensive midfielder like he's been playing, or a center forward.
I've got him as a second striker, 4-4-2. I have that document that I wrote. So you can read that.
I agree with
I don't yap like Aero does.
Like, I would say Isagi, being who he is, I think he needs an offensive role, but I also think that, like, taking him away from defense is just a waste because bro goes so hard all the time on defense. Like, taking him away takes away some of those good defensive feats we get from Isagi. And sure, we'll now get them from other defenders, but like, I want more Isagi, please.
Like, we should some, but not to the skill like he has to defend every play. But they should find
like, but yeah, Isagi himself is he's great in a lot of positions, and I feel like having him be involved with the most amount of people is the best way to do that. At least scoring goals wise. So I think having him as an offensive player is the way to go. But also, you could say a midfielder is good, but I think striker is good because having him give the restriction of competing for goals is exactly what some of the players will need to do their best.
Suki, OP,
Yeah.
let me get you guys' thoughts on the
Yeah.
captain and the whole Isagi receiving the
Bro, I
tapes.
hear
The
crap. I can't lie.
OP,
Yeah.
um, turn your gain down a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Hold on, my bad.
Yeah. So let me get your thoughts on the chapter. You know, Isagi getting package, getting his plane tickets and videos and stuff like that. What did you guys think?
But I love Isagi's dad, man. He is a vibe.
Yeah, he is.
Bro's really mocking Kaiser too, bro. Everyone's dancing on his grave. About the plane ticket, don't really know what we're gonna do with that if he goes to La Real. That would confirm Errol's theory about Isagi training on the side. So that would be cool. Honestly, I think it's just to go to Bastard München to train with the U20 team, but that's just me.
Wouldn't that be bad though? Because like he just spent the entire time training with them.
I know, but don't know where it is. I feel like they're gonna give such a simple reason, but I really want him to go to La Real. I don't know about it yet. I just read the officials like 20 minutes ago.
It's like expectations versus
I
reality.
have no idea. Yeah, I'm trying to contemplate expectations versus reality right now because I expect him to go to a different club, especially if the. Bro, what's going on? Okay, but yeah, especially with the clip showing like momentum, rhythm, freedom, game-changing moments. Like this is Spanish football at its best. So I expect him to go to a Spanish club to go and get better because Fernando Torres is the real life inspiration of Leonardo Luna. So that's another reason why I think Isagi is gonna go there. Pablo Aimar is Lionel Messi's idol and has very good rhythmic and freedom type of football. So all these ideas really expect me to put the Isagi in La Real, but I have no idea what they're gonna do. But I'm really happy. I'm gonna be honest. When I saw the Ross, the only person I knew was Kaka. I'm not gonna lie, and Torres, but that was it. I did not know who Pablo Aimar was until what's his name? Anamasu? Yeah. He pointed that out. That was Messi's idol. So that was really nice to see.
So do you think there's gonna be a shift in the way Isagi plays?
Yes, definitely. I think he's gonna play with more skills in his assets and he won't always need to go on defense. Like someone said that he's gonna be more of a momentum player. While he will be controlling the game the whole time, he doesn't need to make so many on the ball movements. It's really different because people are expecting him to be an insane dribbler after this campaign, like what's his name, Anime Greenly and all that. But I don't think he needs to be the insane dribbler that people are expecting him to be. What their ego's trying to get him to do is get him to be a momentum based player. See the moments where you actually need to change the game and pick up skills. But yeah, he's definitely going to need to improve his technical skills, but I think it's more of a vision based. Well, like you don't need to be moving as fast as you can. Do any of you lots watch Dragon Ball or Naruto? There's some
Naruto.
Dragon Ball
Yeah.
fights.
characters like Jiren who like they do so much without doing anything. If that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
there's so much ki or chakra, but they'll be like using just the bare minimum to like use its full efficiency. So I feel
Aura.
like he's gonna like have more like efficiency in the way he plays, especially now that he's gonna go 90-minute matches. He needs to prepare visually on how to understand games, how to get like world type experience. Because the main thing is that Ego needs to get Isagi to know that hey, you've been doing great in all this, but like there's a bigger world with bigger football players who move like this, move like that. So like to be able to move at the best efficiency against these new teams that they're gonna face, he needs to understand their play styles already, so that way he can do a lot without having to do so much.
Yeah,
I'm gonna leave it at
because
that. I'm gonna let y'all do.
because obviously Isagi is his main weapon is his understanding of the game. So if he broadens his understanding, he can get to his conclusions much faster. Because
and he can reach better ones.
Yeah, exactly. So this does help him to broaden his horizons in terms of like the different play styles, the different plays and traps and passes and stuff that they may encounter in the World Cup. But then again, like I said before, it's like gearing him to a playmaking, an all round role rather than just a pure striker.
You know, I actually don't think he's gonna be more playmaking from this,
Mm-hmm.
because looking back at the chapters from Kaiser against Ubers, I think Kaiser was called the ultimate game changer.
Hmm.
So I think this whole idea of game defining plays or being the game changer, I think it's still striker oriented. But in general, Isagi being able to understand these moments will help him produce his own better and also counter the opponents as well. But I think it still keeps him as a striker because Kaiser was a game changer.
Yeah. 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 I think that is one thing that Isagi needs to be able to add, because one thing with Isagi playing with players like Hiyori, Isagi got lovely movement, brilliant movement, but being able to play that pinpoint pass isn't something that can always happen in a match. Sometimes he will have to receive a pass, and he'll have to create the chance from the pass. If you know what I mean, like Ero said it earlier, he needs to be able to maybe change the way he traps the ball and then set himself up for a direct shot.
So like how Nagi does the zero reset turn.
Yeah, exactly. So it won't be enough just to be able to slip in behind and receive the perfect pass anymore. There will be times where he can't receive the perfect pass, but he can receive the pass in an area, and now he has to improvise and do something with it. Make create a chance out of less of a chance.
Yeah. I'll say this now just because I wanted to talk about this for a minute. If you're cool with it,
Yeah, go on.
plug in tomorrow's video. If you peep the Discord, you'll see a hint for what it is tomorrow. If you guys are interested, to get your thoughts.
Let me look. Okay, the Isagi one.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Is that
I hope it's not Predator
Predator
Eye.
Eye? Is that Predator Eye?
It is. So
Ooh.
Really?
tomorrow I'm making my first what if on the channel in a hot minute.
Okay.
It's gonna be what if Isagi, instead of a freedom type, he awakened as a restrictive type.
Ooh. Okay.
So the concept is he awakened Predator Eye before he awakened his base spatial awareness.
Also, you'll have both.
Mm-hmm. Because to be a talented learner like he is, you have spatial awareness.
Mm-hmm.
It's just now we're giving him Predator Eye because he's now closer to Kaiser. He's like Kaiser.
Mm.
Hey Errol, before you guys continue, having predator eyes doesn't make you a genius, right?
It does not. It makes you a restrictive type.
Good. I was about to say Kaiser's freaking has it and is a talented learner.
Yeah. So what I'm gonna do, my plan is I don't know how I'm gonna write it out. I have up to just before they go against Bato's team.
Okay.
So I have it there. If it does well, I'm gonna make another one. But the what I want to do is Isagi would awaken spatial awareness in second selection against Naruhaya. Like Isagi is using his eyes for goal scoring chances or 1v1 opportunities, and then he sees he can use them for playmaking things and build himself up to that.
Okay. So are you going from first selection or?
I'm going from start of the series.
Wow. Okay. So you're already quite far already.
Yeah. So I went through opening game against Kira's team, the tag game, and then Bachira and Isagi's training thing before the Team X game. That's where.
Yeah. Okay.
Part 1.
Okay, just before the Team X game.
Yeah.
That makes me wonder, like, is he still gonna have direct shot, or like, is all of that changing?
I don't know. You'll have to see.
Jeez.
Oh, man.
I love the art. I think I cooked on this art. I think it looks good.
Yeah, it looks
you definitely did. Yeah.
I'm gonna go through and do some edits to like the anime clips throughout this. So opening one was gonna be this one. I'll probably for like thumbnail number 2, I'll use like when he awakens spatial awareness against Bato. I'll probably use that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I'll see what I want to do. But
I
think this is gonna be.
What did you use to make this? Is this on Procreate?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I'm still going through and making a couple changes to make shit look cooler, but I think it's definitely decent for the time being.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. What if,
My favorite what if would be what if Nico was the main character, because he deserves it.
Real.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be a good one, to be fair.
Nico Midco.
How dare you? Nico, my Ashito carryover.
Is Ashito also useless?
Whoa,
How dare
whoa,
you?
whoa, what we saying is Nico is not useless.
Nico's best position.
Bro,
Nico's best position is as a defensive midfielder, and Karasu gaps him in there. I don't like Karasu, but even I'll admit Karasu is better than him.
Yeah, but Karasu has.
Nah, I'm biased against Karasu so much. I'd say Nico is better.
I don't like Karasu. I don't like Karasu either. But Nico is the only person with Metavision ever confirmed to have a bad version of Metavision.
I mean, it's not a bad version. He just doesn't use it properly.
He doesn't use it right.
He got lied to. It's not his fault.
No, hold up. Let me tell you how Isagi described it to him. It's a way of using your eyes. You take in everything with your peripheral vision while processing it with your brain to reflexively monitor everyone's movements on the field. And then following chapter. Yeah, but he's not using his peripheral vision. He's just focusing on Isagi.
No, it's because he isn't turning his head. Isagi didn't tell him to turn his head. He lied.
Yeah, Isagi didn't include it, but he's not using his peripherals. He's just focusing on Isagi.
No. Isagi said if Nico turned his head, he would have seen Raichi. Like, your peripherals only go so far. He was using them, just not turning his head enough.
Raichi got behind him, like at first, but Raichi was directly in front of him. You concentrated too much on what came next, so you focused too much on me and the ball.
Yeah.
Right, like this. If you look here, in the chat here, Nico isn't using his peripherals. He's just focusing on fully what's in front of him. Raichi then snuck behind him and then approached.
Yes, but then Isagi says in that page,
yes, I know.
If you turn your head.
I know. Yes, I know. But he's not using his peripheral vision here because the peripheral vision extends out further. Peripheral vision extends further than what we're seeing here. What we're like the area we're looking at here, that's just central vision. What's in front of you. And that's what's in front of him.
Well, yeah, but it's also both.
I'm not saying he lied to him.
He partially did.
Not telling him something doesn't mean he's lying to him. He's not lying how Metavision works. He's just not giving he's not telling him full breakdown. He's not giving him a 12-minute YouTube video with ads in the middle of how to use Metavision. Like, he's not breaking it down.
That's a lying by omission. That's still a thing.
Well, fuck.
He set up my goal.
But I guess he's like, I'm gonna lie to Nico and tell him how Metavision isn't actually used, so he fucking fails. Is that what he's thinking?
It's something that Isagi would do.
Nah, Isagi's crafty though. He tricked him there. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just because like it's supposed to show like, oh, Nico immature this, immature that, but then you have Charles existing, and his whole existence is Nico's worthless. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, the way you use your eyes and brain is still second rate.
Yeah, because he's a child.
So is Charles, and Charles has better metavision than Karasu.
Charles is just built different.
Charles is built
How
different.
long ago did Nico start playing ball? Not long ago, is it?
I can guarantee you it was after it was before Charles did.
Yeah, because he like played for his middle school team as a cam, right?
Yeah, well, he's also 15, so he's like a freshman.
Charles must have been playing for a while though. Like
fuck.
Charles is a mutation, bro. He shouldn't exist.
Okay, what about Reo? Reo's been playing for way less time. He's a better Metavision user.
Yeah.
But
Reo doesn't even know he's got Metavision.
Yeah, but Reo also used his Metavision and saw into a further future than both Isagi and Kaiser could. So that already upscales his Reo Metavision, unironically, scales higher than Isagi's Metavision in Manchan City.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I still think like
that's based off like 1 feat and 1 aspect,
but
all it shows is that he was better in one moment and in terms of foresight.
I can tell you there's 2 moments. Ryo was able to use his Metavision and time it perfectly to get in between the matchup of Chris Prince and Kaiser when Noah came in that Isagi couldn't do. And then he also predicted the final pass to Yukimiya. Which if you go back to chapter 202, when you see Yukimiya about to take the shot, Ryo was already running. He was already there.
Yeah.
And Ryo wasn't there before. Meaning he was full speed sprinting there before Isagi even hit the pass.
Yeah, Ryo's foresight is just built different. We need to see more of it.
We need to. I still think Metavision Reo is top 5 character in Blue Lock. Like
Metavision Reo. Honestly, unironically, I'll say this: Metavision Reo, X Flow Nagi is the strongest combination of players we have ever seen.
I agree with that. Actually,
it is temporary because it is self-destructive, but that doesn't make any difference. The 5-stage fake volley is still one of the most technical plays in the entire series, despite it being a one-time thing. It's still one of the best goals, and it was only possible thanks to Metavision Reo X Flow Nagi.
Yeah, I think that combo beats.
But it's like that ain't happening again.
Yeah, well, it's like perfect copy Zone Kisei. He was the strongest player in that game. It only lasted 5 minutes, but that doesn't change the fact that he was the strongest player on that court for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So like they are the strongest duo that we've seen. Sure, it'll only last a short time, but they are the strongest like momentary duo. If you're looking at pure strength, they are the strongest. Kaiser and Isagi, for example, or Hiyori and Isagi, they're more consistent for a longer time, but they don't reach the same peak.
More quantity, but less quality.
Yeah.
I think
are you dishing out 80% the rest of the year, or are you hitting 100? 100 will always be a better score, but you're hitting consistent 80s.
Consistent 80s is better.
Yeah, I think that duo actually beats out Return to Zero, Kaiser, and Isagi at the end of PXG.
Oh, I'll say this: Kaiser is still superior to Isagi by a vast mile because he is never in the environment to make him do well. The only time he was in the perfect environment to do well was chapter 261 to 267. That was the best environment for Kaiser, and he has never been in that again.
Full agree, bro. I've been flamed in your Discord for saying the same thing. It's crazy.
Wait, are you like because you've been saying it, or because other people have and you disagree?
No, I've been saying it. I still say like Kaiser's over Isagi by a good bit, and
he is.
Say, nope, I'm
the
wrong.
only thing Isagi takes over Kaiser is like game
intelligence.
Game IQ. That's it. Because he's able to execute things without being invested with emotions. Gameplay. We can just say like game performance or game skill.
Game intelligence.
Good enough.
Just the gap in physical capabilities just makes it such a horrible matchup. Isagi's just an 11v11 merchant.
So does Isagi ever fix that though?
What do you mean?
Does he ever close that gap in physical
Nope.
ability?
He probably
just
won't
tries
ever.
not to get
I mean, he uses others.
If Isagi fixes that issue, no other character will come close to him, and it will be vastly unfair.
So Isagi's brain with Kaiser's body is better than current Kaiser.
Yeah, I think that's even better than the story of Rin.
It was straight up stated. Like, the one thing that held Kaiser back was the fact that he got too invested with his emotions. If he had Isagi's mindset for that going into that, he's not getting held back by emotions.
Yeah.
Therefore, he's outperforming what Kaiser did and doing what Kaiser couldn't.
But does Kaiser change that in the World Cup? Do you reckon?
Possibly.
Well, I would say no, because because what Ness said, they're probably going to get more connected, and he won't need to. Like, the reason that he lost to Isagi was because he thought Ness couldn't change. Ness is changing now, but now he's putting faith in Ness as opposed to putting faith outside of it. Like, he had faith that Ness wouldn't evolve.
Stop him from.
He had faith Ness wouldn't evolve. Now he has faith Ness will evolve, but that's not stop. That isn't it isn't the same thing as Isagi before. Isagi had faith in Ness's evolution, but in regards to the fact that Kaiser didn't think he could change. Kaiser knows he can change, but he's still putting his faith in Ness. He put his faith in Ness before, but under the context that he wouldn't evolve. He's putting his faith in Ness again, that he will. And that makes sense.
Yeah, but also Isagi did say to Kaiser after the game that the reason he won was because he was able to drop his emotions. So could we see like a Kaiser having like a conflict between wanting to go back to this kind of evolved partnership with Ness, see how that goes, or instead push for more of Isagi's methodology and more so drop his emotions and push for the more rational and logical approach at all costs? Like, is that some sort of like mini story arc that we might get for the pair?
I think it's weird. I don't think Kaiser needs to. I think Kaiser is closest to the 50-50 mark of genius and talented learner because I think it's a spectrum. I think Kaiser is the closest person to being 50% genius, 50% talented learner.
Definitely.
So dropping his fixations will not make any difference. If anything, because being a restricted type, he needs the fixations on stuff.
So you
needs to be more hyper fixated.
Is that excluding Noah, or you think even above Noah?
No, I think Noah's 50-50 as well.
Yeah.
But I think that's the reason that Noah wants Kaiser to be his rival, is because Kaiser's the only other person in the world who is able aside from Ego, who is 50% genius, 50% talented learner.
Yeah, I don't think dropping fixations is what Kaiser needs, because he says it himself. Like, he lost because he let go of his malice.
Yeah.
Kaiser's at the strongest when he has full malice.
Yeah. But then, what makes a difference then this time, when if they do face Germany again? What makes a difference now this time?
Ness is going to make Kaiser evolve. Ness never made Kaiser evolve before. Now he's actively going to pursue that.
What, as in like not passing to him? Because
no, passing in ways that make Kaiser evolve.
Yeah, basically like challenging passes, kind of like what Hiyori does.
No, that's what the top spitter. That's what the magic drive hit that he sent to Isagi.
Yeah.
It was meant to evolve Kaiser because it's unsuitable for the Kaiser impact, which would therefore make Kaiser evolve if he wanted to score. He needs to evolve himself past the point of what's comfortable for the Kaiser impact in order to score the final goal.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
We're having such good dialogue today.
Yeah, it's been interesting. I'm here. It's because I'm here for real.
Oh, I'm here.
I carry.
The Deadu Death.
Yeah, I give Arrow like a banter partner.
Yes.
So China.
So China.
What a transition.
They got a new Gen 11 possibly. What position does he play? And this guy will be Sendo's rival. Bear in mind.
Why would he be Sendo's rival?
What?
Because Sendo's rival with every.
Do you think he'd be offended? Like you don't want Korean pop stars anymore? You don't want Japanese pop stars? What the fuck? What the fuck is wrong with you, bro? You want a dumb American Hollywood actress? Screw that. You got no taste.
Idols anymore?
Yo, American New Gen dating the Hollywood actress that Sendo wants to go out with.
American New Gen
and then we
dating
just get
Ryan
like a
Mom.
Sendo mega evolution. A megalution.
Sendo seems to think any international striker is his rival.
He's gonna do the steal. He's gonna do the steal your bitch direct shot. That's what he's gonna call it. It's like take my steal yo bitch direct shot. Scores final goal. Wins.
Yeah. What you call it? Take my pickup line directly into your DMs.
The DM drive.
So you guys don't think that any of these new Gen 11 are gonna be major antagonists? You think that Loki is the one?
Yeah. Well, I think Kaiser's gonna be the one to defeat Blue Lock again.
Kaiser, no. I want to move on from Kaiser.
Well, I think they're going into the U20 World Cup. I think Kaiser and Ness. Let me explain, right? Kaiser and Ness defeating Blue Lock isn't just because I want them to win. It's because it ties into another theory I have with Sae. I made the video this weekend. I think Sae playing for Spain, have them match up against Loki first round, and have Loki fucking destroy Sae. Have him obliterate Spain. It now sets Loki as a hurdle that, like a country that not even Sae can defeat. Have Blue Lock in Japan defeat Loki, and now they are now worthy of Sae coming to play for them because they have now revolutionized Japanese soccer, defeating an opponent that not even he could. Right? And then have them lose to Kaiser. Right? I don't know the reason or the importance of it, but it'd be more have them lose to Kaiser, then go to a Champions League arc where it'd be Kaiser, Green, and Sae at Real. Have Sae train alongside Kaiser, the man who just defeated Blue Lock, to get better, and then come back and represent Japan in the final World Cup.
But so on France's team, right? Because you say Blue Lock defeat France but lose to Germany, right? But on France's team, won't they have Loki, Charles, and a possible new Gen 11 player?
Yes.
So what makes Germany stronger than France in this case?
The thing is, here's how it looks. If you lose to France, right, going into the final World Cup, you're gonna have that new Gen 11. You're gonna probably have Charles. You're gonna have Loki, and you're gonna have Noah. Those 4 people on the same team for France. If they lose to France in the U20 World Cup, they cannot write a justifiable ending for them winning the final one. Because now you're beating Noah, Loki, Charles, and the other new Gen 11 who just defeated you. What?
They'll be how long till the proper World Cup? 2 years?
Maybe.
We don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But they'll be older, hopefully more experienced, and hopefully have better pros on their team. So there's always a chance. It's a bit far fetched. But yeah, I can't get over beating France but losing to Germany. For me, I can see Blue Lock just winning the whole thing. That's not to say that they won't lose games, but I just can't see losing to France and beating Germany.
Other way around.
No, it is. It's losing to France. Oh,
we say he can't comprehend it. He doesn't see that being possible.
Yeah. Beating France and losing to Germany.
Yeah, there you
go. Yeah.
You know, I don't think Loki's gonna be in the actual World Cup because I think something's gonna happen to him.
Ooh.
I think like
Isagi snaps his legs.
I mean, maybe like injury or something. Because
my thing is, I actually think that low key, because I'm pretty sure it's been stated that he's already a full international. So
He's played for the national team.
yeah, so really shouldn't be here. So I reckon he's only here like on a joking thing, and he won't actually play many matches until he gets fired up against Blue Lock and decides he wants to jump in and play.
Mm-hmm.
I can see him literally riding bench all the way until he decides, you know what, let me jump in here and play. Because
And then
have
and then he. Oh no, go on.
because you have to bear in mind, right? Unless Loki or Charles are declared new Gen 11s, there might be another France player that is new Gen 11 in there.
I think it might be a defender if it is.
I actually predicted goalkeeper.
Well, the goalkeeper could be for any of them. Honestly, there could be multiple.
Yeah,
Although I feel like one new Gen 11 goalkeeper is all there's gonna be.
yeah, I think there's only gonna be one, but I predicted France to be the one because I can't see another outfielder with at a crazy level. I just feel like that'll be so overkill with Loki on on the team.
Yeah, I gotta dip though. I got family coming home. I gotta get this video. Thank you so much for letting me join, bro. I appreciate
Yeah,
you.
no worries, man.
All right,
No
see you
worries.
guys.
We'll see you.
Good seeing you.
Yeah, I can't see France having Loki, Charles, and a new gen outfield player, and then have like the rest are international, under 20s level players. I think doesn't that just seem a little bit overkill?
I think it definitely is. That's why, like, I don't, because Loki has the whole thing. Like in episode Nagi, he had the whole like same relation to like Loki being. I mean, same relation to Nagi being blessed with talent and without fear. But when you discover fear, it'll destroy you and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So I really think, and his whole thing of like searching for his talented learner to evolve him. Because that's what he went from Charles. Charles is a talented learner. He's a genius.
Yeah.
He wants to reach that next level. So he's looking for that in Charles. But I think something's gonna bite him like in the back, like nerfing
Okay.
himself to play at the U20 level, trying to evolve Charles. I think something's gonna happen where he's gonna be useless afterwards.
Really?
Yeah,
Mm.
I can't see Loki sharing a field with Noah and it just being fine.
Okay. I mean, I presume they've already done it before, seeing as Loki is a full international.
Of course, yeah, yeah. But like when it comes to like power, like I cannot imagine Blue Lock winning against that. Because like
Yeah,
who's
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
stop Loki's speed? No one.
Same. But that's why I literally think that he doesn't start most games or any games up until Blue Lock game, and I don't think he even starts the Blue Lock game. I think he comes on later in the Blue Lock game. Maybe Blue Lock are winning against France in like say a semi final or a final. Then France bring on Loki, and he completely changes the whole dynamic of the game. Remontada brings France back, and then Blue Lock in a last ditch extra time thing, managed to get one past him, get one past Loki, or managed to stop Loki somehow, some way, and counter attack and win it right in the depth. But
It'd be
I can't
like,
see
no, that
Loki
makes
actually.
sense.
Yeah, I can't see Loki actually like be a prominent fixture in the France team because I think that's overkill.
I think it'd be like we beat France, but we didn't beat Loki.
Yeah.
And then that sets it up when they face them again in the World Cup.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But like I don't want to take away focus from Noah.
That's true, but yeah, you're right.
Because like if it's like Loki is still a threat that we can't handle, and then Noah is like still
Yeah,
above him. I can't imagine how he's gonna play with the dynamics, try to give Noah enough spotlight.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point.
Well, to be fair, we could I guess in a Champions League arc, show some development or something that shows him being able to compete with Loki as a sign of, here's where we were when we last faced you.
Mm-hmm.
Here's how we're progressing. And now we're going to progress even further in the World Cup, and we're going to whoop your ass, and I'm going to drag Noah down with you.
Ooh.
Maybe. I guess it's fair. When I think about it, Blue Lock has Rin and Isagi.
Yeah.
And
you'd might get stronger as well by then.
Yeah, those players are kind of insane.
Yeah. Is it and they should have Sae as well.
Oh yeah, for the full for the adult World Cup, they would 100% have Sae.
Yeah,
it could be Isagi, Ren, and Sae versus Loki, Noah, and Charles.
Yeah,
I can see that.
but it still sounds like France should win that though.
Yeah, I think what would have to happen is Rin would have to counter Loki with some stupid genius play, and then Isagi brings a new theory to defeat Noah that actually works.
I think what it could be is that I think it might have been Rin versus Loki, and how Rin defeats him might actually have been hinted in the World 5 game.
Oh.
And what it was when Loki was running through, and Rin states, your route is too obvious. And then it could also link to what Isagi said at the end, near the end of the PXG game, when he said, you would just happen to be born with fast legs. And it could just be that Loki is overly reliant on his talent and brings no brains to the game, which would also understand why none of the PXG players are really able to develop under him, because he doesn't have that tactical affinity. So it could just be that Rin uses his own intelligence to counter Loki's reliance on his talent to mitigate it, which could we could see a Loki evolution in the middle of the World Cup final.
Okay, so as in Loki's just really easy to read if someone can match his speed, or if there's a tactic.
Isagi might not have because obviously no one will be as fast as him.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can close the speed gap enough to where predicting his movements is enough to close that gap, Rin probably has the best balance of speed and brain capacity.
Yeah. I mean, one thing, obviously in real life, right? When a defender has to go against a fast player, what they normally tell them is to give them a yard, so you don't get too tight on them.
Yeah.
In case they make it a foot race, you've got to be a little bit further back, so that when they do start sprinting, you have a little bit
time
of
to react. Yeah, it was a tactic used by Franco Baresi. Because, in my opinion, I know it's going to be a hot take with Maldini existing, but I think Franco Baresi is the best centre back the game's ever seen. Because Maldini was phenomenal in 1v1s. He was brilliant at controlling that situation. He forced the attacker to respond to him.
Yeah.
But that was because Maldini also had the great physical capabilities to be able to do that. But Baresi was midget. He was 5'8", not overly athletic, but he was so extremely intelligent that he didn't have to control it, but he could be on the receiving end and still beat most attackers.
Okay.
Even with that disadvantage. So what I think it is that would be a similar case. I could see Aiku doing it, give some spotlight to the defenders. We could see Aiku using that balance to try go up against Loki, or Nico doing it, or both of them.
Or Pete, what did you say?
No, I was thinking. You know what? When you were describing that tactic, you know what came to mind?
What?
Rin's Destroyer mode, puppeteer 4 meter man mark, where he hangs back uses his brain to some extent, uses the puppeteer style that we used to see,
Okay.
and then when it comes to the actual situation, he switches back to destroyer and uses his instincts to counter the attack. So maybe he does the same thing with Loki, like hanging
Yeah,
back,
because
trying to think first.
they did mention Loki versus Rin, didn't they? In the interview, uh,
Mm.
they specifically mentioned Loki versus Rin, and it was it Isagi versus Kaiser. They said.
Maybe I don't.
Can't remember.
Let me check real quick. It was
Uh,
chapter 302. I'm pretty sure.
well, while he does that, I'm gonna plug myself. Neymar over Ronaldo. I'm just saying. Fight me.
What brought this on?
Me realizing that Ronaldo is overhyped by social media.
That's crazy.
What? Wait. Let me just read this quick, and then I'll rebuttal. I'll rebuttal.
Oh.
Yeah. So it says here. So then, is it possible we'll get to see Loki versus Rin Itoshi, or Kaiser against Yoichi Isagi? Yeah. So that's one of the reporters saying. So he specifically said Loki versus Rin and Kaiser versus Isagi.
I think that could hint at Loki, basic like confirmation of him being in the U20 World Cup.
Yeah, it does say that. I think that's. Why can't I speak? I think that is what is hinting at.
Yeah,
But I think we know Loki's gonna play, but I just don't think he plays every
starts.
game. Like
Yeah,
like you'd expect him, to be MVP star and play every game. But I don't think that's what's gonna happen. I don't think he plays most games. I think he'll think himself above it all
mm.
and only play when he feels like it.
And
And
that ego
I,
could
I,
get the better of him. Like he comes in against Japan, but he comes in too late,
mhm, mhm,
and they and that still ends up in France like losing. And then
mhm.
it could be like everyone like looks at Loki like, why didn't you come in before? Why couldn't you have judged Japan better? And his own country like turns against him.
And and that's the whole like arrogance of Loki and like Isagi was talking about.
Yeah, you're just an
Yeah,
arrogant guy that happened to be born with fast legs.
yeah, 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 yeah. So yeah, that'd be sick. That'd be sick if Rin is the one to lock up Loki. But I
Yeah,
still think Chigiri can do a job. Maybe
yeah.
maybe that's Chigiri's out moment.
Just like, yeah, my speed against your speed. Let's go.
Yeah. Maybe
Yeah, come in.
that's the straw that breaks the ligament.
Snaps his bone.
Yeah, the one that breaks Chigiri's career going up against Loki. But but in doing so, he manages to get Blue Lock the win.
Isagi will get Blue Lock the win because he's the MC.
No, yeah, I know, but I mean like Chigiri's contribution in stopping Loki might be like the how can I say the
MVP?
MVP moment. Yeah. So
Could
like
be, yeah.
yeah, the moment that gives Blue Lock that chance to win that game. So like say Loki's on a break uh and
Chigiri stops him through
yeah,
like kind of like a pace race.
yeah, Chigiri remembers all the tactics and gives Loki 5 yards, and then Loki's running, and then Chigiri's running, and then yeah, last day's tackle.
Like an Aaron Wan-Bissaka slide tackle,
Yes,
and then Chigiri's ACL explodes.
100%, just like that. Chigiri gets injured, but Blue Lock get the ball, and Chigiri is stretchered off, and then Blue Lock's like, we won't let your sacrifice go to waste.
Oh God, power of friendship.
Friendship is crazy.
Ah. Isagi says, "I won't let your sacrifice go to waste," and yeah, clutches it in the end.
Mm.
I want Isagi to pick up that loose ball and recreate the scene against Team Z or whatever. He says, "Well, it's my
Yeah.
last chance," and just starts dribbling down the field.
Oh god, just an Asagi solo run.
That'd be crazy. I
Because we
love
have
it.
seen Isagi pull off skills like step overs and stuff, and body feints and lifts.
Yeah, I mean, what he did to Yuki Miya was diabolical, making Yuki
Yeah,
Miya run into that other player, man, in the Ubers match. That was diabolical.
yeah.
He needs to
Field
be able to do more
manipulation.
of that. But yeah, nah, it's gonna be interesting. But it's still there's a side conundrum. Does Sai play? If he does, who does he play for? It's,
Sai won't play in the U20.
he won't. I
No.
guess. But if they said all the new gens are gonna be there, so what's Sai doing?
He kind of has to, yeah.
Nah, it's just media gaslighting.
And especially if you think if you're under the belief that Ray Dark is a propagator of the new gen, PIFA, then surely maybe it's in his new gen contract that he has to play or something.
Honestly, I could see that. Lose your new gen title or play in the U20.
Mm.
And Sai would be like, bruh, you're like, bruh, that's not in my control. You have to ask the weirdo with the glasses.
No, but I mean, to be fair, Ray Dark probably has a lot of control in this as well.
Ego is one person that wouldn't give a crap about that.
Yeah, Ego won't, but
Oh yeah.
they'll sketch something out in it. They'll sketch something out. You never know. Maybe Ray Dark has something on Ego or something. He's a bad guy after all. He's
Whoa.
well, at least we think he is. He's being portrayed as one, or is
Well,
he?
he does have dark in his name.
Or is he? Is he being portrayed as a bad guy? Because he helped Kaiser.
Probably because he saw an opportunity for lots of money. Like,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. He's a businessman at heart.
yeah.
Definitely. Like he worked his way up from the top. He was just a scout when he met Kaiser, wasn't he?
Mm.
He was like some kind of scout, and then he became the head of PIFA.
Honcho.
And if you know anything about UEFA, FIFA, and all these organizations, man, they're embroiled in a lot of corruption.
Yeah, they're more corrupt than a third world nation in Africa.
Yeah, there's a lot of corruption in that. So it won't surprise me if he got to the top in some sketchy manner.
Which is a reason why Neymar is above Ronaldo.
Okay, let's do this then.
Okay,
So,
okay.
so Neymar over Ronaldo. Whilst I agree, Neymar is like football is in his blood. Like this guy, wonderful footballer, brilliant footballer, high IQ, high technical ability. You know, he's a brilliant footballer. Everything like potential to have been the best footballer in the world, but for me, did not live up to that potential. It did
Doesn't
not.
mean he was bad.
No. It doesn't mean he was bad. He was really good. He was third best at some point in the world. Third best in the world at some point. I just can't put him above Ronaldo. I can't put him above Messi
Obviously
because
not above Messi. Messi's
yeah,
on his own tier.
yeah.
Neither are close.
But
The
I
fact
can't.
that people think Ronaldo versus Messi is a debate is just a bunch of lunacy created by fanatic social media goddamn addicts that want to turn everything into a competition and try get the attractive big honcho man to go against the dude that's 10 times better than he is just because it'd make an interesting match, just because social media thinks so.
Yeah, but I can't
Yeah.
put him above Ronaldo either. Um, and it's not because he doesn't gap him in technical ability or anything.
It's a hard gap.
No.
Not even 2008
It,
Ronaldo holds a candle to Neymar in terms of technical ability.
He
was just a showboating fraud.
It is a hard gap, and entertainment wise, it's way more entertaining watching Neymar play than.
But Neymar's also efficient
Ronaldo,
with his technical skills. Have you seen him? Have you seen him? He's not just Ronaldinho, who does it for fun, for the showboating, for the entertainment. But Neymar has actual penetration in his movements. He actually gets past players. He has a phenomenal one-on-one rate. He's amazing at getting out of tight spaces. He's got his evidence, his goal versus Juventus in pre-season. It was pre-season, but they're still trying to stop him, and it's still Juventus in 2017. He dribbled past about all four of their defenders to slot in the bottom corner. He got his goal against Villarreal where he effortlessly lifted it over a defender and just volleyed it bottom corner from a position where he was on the edge of the box and facing away from the goal, and scored it in 2 touches. You've also got loads of his dribbles in Ligue 1, particularly in 2017 and 18, where he was solo dribbling from the halfway line, dribbling past 4 or 5 players. And sometimes a match against Lyon in 2018, when he was surrounded by 4 players and got through all 3 of them with 3 touches, and then slotted it into the bottom corner after that. The technical gap is a hard negative difficulty.
It's a case of what are we judging right now? Are we judging who's the better
an overall just an overall player in general?
The better footballer in general, in terms of for the team, or just
in general, their individual capabilities and their ability to integrate as part of a team, be in the system, and not just be fed all their goals by a world-class midfield.
I mean, you can say that, but that's the job of a striker, no?
But it doesn't make him a better overall player. But also, he didn't spend most of his career as a striker. He only really integrated as a striker as soon as he went to Juventus around 2017-18. Other than that, he was primarily a left winger.
I mean, when he went to Madrid, he started off left wing, but he quickly became.
He played as a left wing. They primarily played as a 4-3-3 for a majority of their seasons, because Benzema played up front as a lateral false 9.
Yeah, but let's be honest, he wasn't really playing left wing. It's like saying Thierry Henry played left wing for Arsenal. Not really.
Well, kind of really.
No, not really. They were strikers. It's very similar to even Mo Salah. Mo Salah's not really a winger.
Mo Salah's a winger.
He's not.
Mo Salah's a winger.
He's not a winger. He's a striker that plays on the wing. And so is Alexis Sanchez. He was a striker that plays on the wing.
He only transitioned to a proper striker later in his career when he lost his yard of pace.
Yeah. So, but regardless, right? When it comes to pure footballer and football ability, Neymar hands down. When it comes to value to a football team, then it's Ronaldo. I'm afraid.
Neymar.
No, it's not. It's not Neymar. It's Ronaldo.
This is going to be my favorite bit. All right, so we're okay. So let's go. We're going to talk about their overall value. So let's start with the overrated social media hype known as Ronaldo. Okay, so he gets a lot of goals. Cool, he's a great goal scorer.
I mean, we can't just say cool, he gets a lot of goals, because that's the whole aim of the game.
Well, it's not the whole aim of the game, because you can also say that stopping goals. Just talk about the Italian team. Their main philosophy was stopping the other team from scoring.
No. So
this is just the
aim of the game is to outscore the other
team more than anything.
Wait. Let's stop. Wait. Stop it. Stop for a second. The aim of the game is to outscore the opposition. That's the aim of the game. It's not really stop the opposition from scoring. That will help your team. But the aim of the game is really to outscore the opposition. Because you don't win a football match unless you score a goal. Right? It's not.
But you also don't win a game if you concede more.
But it's not possible to win a football match unless you score a goal. Right? We've established that.
which means it's
the
also
aim of the
important to
game,
not concede a goal so your
but
opponent doesn't
okay,
score.
but the aim of the game, right, is to win, and the only way you can actually win a football match is to outscore your opponent. That's literally the only way you can win a football match.
But also, again, flip it on its head. You can only win a football game if you concede less. So it's not all about, scoring the goals. Like, you've got to
I
play
know,
value.
but Neymar doesn't help
You've
you
got to play
concede less.
value to those that play make for the goals, those that can create it and give the strikers that opportunity.
Neymar doesn't help you
to
concede less, right? Neither does Ronaldo.
Well, considering Neymar has more defensive statistics than Ronaldo,
it don't really matter, bro. It's negligible.
What do you mean it doesn't really matter?
No, it's negligible. Neymar doesn't
What do you
stop.
mean negligible?
Doesn't stop
You
a
think
team.
Neymar doesn't defend?
No, Neymar doesn't stop a team. Is in a defensive hub for a team, right? Neither of them are. I don't think we can put that on the table. Let's be honest. I don't think we can put that on the table because I think you can find millions of other players that will give you better defensive numbers than those two right there.
Oh yeah, defenders.
Yeah, not even defenders, bro. Attackers, strikers, midfielders. We can find millions that will do much better than those.
Well, considering that, again, like I said earlier on, like in mid-2010s Barcelona, Neymar was integrated as a secondary kind of midfielder when they dropped into their 4-4-2. He played as a left midfielder and assisted Jordi Alba for defensive measures on the left flank. So yeah, you can say he assisted in defence, like even at the very least with his numbers, like his mere presence there assisted their defensive structure.
I don't.
And he also assisted Jordi Alba, surprisingly, with the physical aspect as well, because Jordi Alba midget about 5'6", not very physical.
It doesn't matter.
Neymar has more like physical
Jordi
build
Alba
than you
was
think.
still physical, even though he was small. Let's not do that.
I'm not saying he's like a string bean, but he is not like a physical brute.
No, he wasn't a brute, but he was still a physical player, bro.
He was good at pressing because of his high energy and intensity. But again, high energy and intensity doesn't make you a physical player. Neither was Neymar.
No, he was a physical player, though. I think
Alba was not a physical player.
No, he was. He was a physical player. He was.
Alright, so I'm going to go search up a compilation of Jordi Alba bodying people.
Man, I love being American.
Anyways, we gotta get away from the whole defensive stuff. Like, let's talk about the
after I've established that Neymar is already
no, it's negligible. Neither of them help you out there. Let's talk about the attacking, right?
Neymar still takes.
I mean,
his offensive contributions per game are higher than Ronaldo. Based on their European statistics, so this is ignoring Neymar's like early career in the Brazilian league, and this is and ignoring both of their time in the Saudi league, because negligible, it's the Saudi and the Brazilian league. For focusing on their stats in Europe on a per game ratio,
can you focus on their stats just in La Liga?
Why would you want to focus?
Because
no way
France,
you're going to hate.
I'm sorry,
no, don't
PSG,
you dare hate on the French league.
Playing for PSG in France, bro. That
it is not only PSG in France.
This is what I'm saying.
That's like saying that
playing for PSG in France whilst Ronaldo still playing in La Liga, bro. I'm sorry, bro. Like I can't take those stats seriously. I can't, especially when Neymar was on the beach for half the season most of the time.
He wasn't on a beach for half the season. He spent half it on the hospital bed because he was getting crippled down. The only time he ever really skipped football was for his sister's birthday.
Conveniently for his sister's birthday, but like I can't count those French
can't count
like that French league.
Okay, don't count Ronaldo's stats in Serie A then.
No, that's what I'm saying.
I'm
just saying. That's why I said just La Liga.
But then you're ignoring both of their stats overseas.
Yeah, because I don't really like.
You can't just pretend they didn't exist.
It's become a new thing. Let's just do La Liga.
God, the hate on Serie A and Ligue 1 is mad.
Yeah, I mean Ligue 1 sucks, bro.
Ligue 1 does not suck. They're still professional players. Like, and besides, there are still other strong teams in Ligue 1. You've got Lyon. Well, okay, so we've got you got Lyon.
Lyon, the one that plays in the Europa League and gets slapped up.
We know what the place in the Europa League and get slapped up.
They got. Oh,
Don't you did you forget their run to the semi-finals in the Champions League?
Did they not concede like 5 goals in 5 minutes against Manchester United?
Did they not get to the Champions League semi-final during a period when Neymar was playing in Ligue 1, therefore proving competent competition? And also, even in La Liga, you've also got cruddy little clubs there. Like, it's not all high and mighty for La Liga. There are still cannon fodder clubs, just like in Ligue 1. So are we going to ignore all of their stats against every other cannon fodder club? Huh?
That Lyon team that hasn't been able to win the league in how many years?
I don't know. I don't know French league stuff.
Yeah, it's been ages, bro. It's been ages.
I'm also going to say PSG is overrated.
The only team
there's also Monaco. There's also Lille.
Monaco as well.
They broke that.
Huh?
There's also Monaco and Lille that both overcame.
Monaco and Lille don't have European pedigree either. Like
Monaco also has European pedigree. Like, remember when they beat Man City? You know,
bro, beating Man City in the Champions League, respectfully,
it's still beating Man City. It's still beating Man City over 2 legs.
Plenty of teams have done that. Like you said, Lyon did it. Like it's not like that. There was times there Man City couldn't get over the line, and that was mainly because Yaya Toure and his witch doctors.
You're just the number one hater of just everything that isn't.
No. I'm not even that big of a.
You're hating on Liga. You're hating on Serie A. You're hating on Man City. You're just hating on everything.
I'm not a Man City hater either.
You were hating on Man City by saying beating them in the Champions League is just child's
But
play.
it happened really, every single season until they won it. Like Man City have always been
until they win it.
The best team in
every
England
team until they win it.
But they've always been the best team in England, but sucky when it comes to the Champions League.
Does it stop who's in that starting 11? And the fact is that they're also playing teams from overseas that have different styles, different players that they're not facing in the Premier League. And every single match different. And you're still beating them over 2 legs. There's still different types of different countering that you have to account for when it comes to overseas styles, especially since there's also lots of international players that would have grown up with different styles. It makes every single game different. So being able to beat them over...
You're trying to make out like the French league is something special, something good. It's not.
I'm just gonna say one thing is that I barely know anything about either of these players, but I know that Neymar is sometimes called the uncrowned king. So that's all I know.
Because social media hates on him.
Neymar is the king that should have been but never was.
Yes, Raz. There you go. La Liga is arse. Let's just not count any of it then.
No, not La Liga. La Liga is good.
La Liga has cannon fodder teams.
But I'm not talking about so reason why I wanted to do La Liga is because they was both there. So let's do it in a league where they're both there and a league that actually has good pedigree.
Okay, well, during his time at Barcelona, Neymar should have won the 2015, the 2016, and the 2017 Ballon d'Ors.
Why though?
Because he was better. Like, for example, during 2017, during the Champions League, Neymar played 9 games, got 4 goals, got 9 assists, and carried Barcelona for the entire tournament. Messi was injured for a period of time. Neymar had the single best Champions League performance of any player in history against PSG, getting multiple goals, getting multiple assists. I'm pretty sure it was 2 goals, 3 assists in a single match. He solo carried Barcelona with Messi in it.
Okay, who won the Ballon d'Or that year?
I think it was Ronaldo.
Okay.
And also, again, like I said, social media hype. Like Ronaldo, they both got similar contribution rates. They were both at overall contribution a match. But the thing is that one thing, Neymar carried a team that didn't have their star player in it, whereas Ronaldo was fed it. I'm going to be honest, he is fed a lot of stuff because he is their primary
still
goal
got
scorer.
to put the ball in the back of the net.
Nice. So Ronaldo was a better goal scorer. He was literally being served on a plate by the most, like, for that year, it was the best team in the world because he was being served by Benzema, Bale, prime Cruz, prime Modric, Casemiro, prime Marcelo. There was Carvajal. All of these offensive talents just yeeted up there, all to serve Ronaldo. Because, like, you have to look at like the diaspora and the relative differences between Ronaldo and the other players in Real Madrid.
You're saying that as if Neymar didn't have brilliant midfielders on his back.
Was he being served by them?
Was he not?
Messi wasn't out for the whole season. Messi was their primary route of attack when he was on the pitch. He wasn't injured for the whole season.
Was he not being served? Because I seem to remember Messi getting a load of assists.
Barcelona with MSN up front.
Yeah, I seem to remember Messi getting a load of assists during that period.
Exactly, because the attacks primarily went through him. He was either scoring the goals or getting the assists because the attack was funneled down by him and Dani Carvajal. That's why Iniesta was on that side, because Iniesta had that quality to be able to match them.
Okay, you know? so when Messi was injured, he was next in line to receive
Neymar.
There you go.
Oh my god. And Ronaldo was literally served for that whole season, whereas Neymar was only primarily served for bits of it, and yet they both got similar contribution rates, despite Ronaldo having all that service.
We say similar, but who actually had the highest contribution?
Ronaldo had more total contributions, whereas Neymar played less games and also played 200 less minutes. So once you factor that in, they had extremely similar contributions per minute.
But Ronaldo still did it. I mean, we can speculate whether Neymar would have been able to do it, but Ronaldo actually did it.
He did what? Like I said, he carried Barcelona's Champions League campaign.
Had Neymar played those extra 200 minutes, we can speculate and say that Neymar would have been above.
He would have
but
got more because he had a similar contribution rate to Ronaldo for that season, despite playing less games and therefore having less opportunities to get those contributions.
But what you're doing, right? What you're doing is making a prediction.
I'm not making a prediction. It's a statistically made assessment that has
exactly.
an entire year
it didn't
of data.
happen. It didn't happen just because
you saying he won't be able to do it is just as much speculation, but has less evidence supporting it.
How's it speculation when we know Ronaldo actually done it?
Because you're speculating that Neymar wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
But the thing is that while I've got the stats saying that they've got a similar contribution rate already, I have stats supporting this point. You saying Neymar can't is just a superfluous piece of conjecture.
No, I'm not saying he can't. I'm saying he didn't. Which is factually correct.
But the thing is, he did because he has that contribution rate on the same level as Ronaldo's. Yes, he did.
No, he didn't.
Ronaldo had half the assists as Neymar and about double the goals as Neymar. So it's very clear that they were on an extremely similar rate contribution-wise.
Right.
When Ronaldo was the main force of attack,
we still established
and Neymar
that
was primarily a secondary one.
We still established that Ronaldo out-contributed him.
In more minutes.
In more minutes, yeah.
Yeah, more minutes.
We can assume, like, we can predict, assume, I don't know what you want to call it, that Neymar would have carried on, right? But we don't actually know. What we do know is what's on paper.
Yeah, and what's on paper is saying that Neymar had a similar contribution rate per minute in that season compared to Ronaldo. That's what you got. If you're
but he didn't.
This is like Ronaldo fans trying to say, "Oh, Ronaldo has more goals than Messi." Ronaldo played so many more games than Messi because he's older, got more experience. If you look at it on a per game ratio, which is the most accurate way to do it, because it takes out the factor of playing more games, whether it's for lack of injuries, which gives an advantage, or age, which gives an advantage, looking at them and on per game ratio that shows actually what they did on the pitch in the same amount of time is clear-cut evidence that Neymar had a near identical contribution rate to Ronaldo.
Still less than
per 90 minutes. So if you plonk them on a pitch for 90 minutes,
but was
same
it still,
time,
but
same
was
conditions,
it more
they
or
would perform
less?
similarly.
Was it more or less though?
42.
Per 90.
Okay, well, I'll get it up per night. Both had a contribution rate of just over 1. But anyway, that's just one aspect. So they had a similar offensive contributions on a per 90-minute basis. That is statistically true. Ronaldo had about double of Neymar's goals. Neymar had about double of Ronaldo's assists. So then what we do is that we go away from this, because that's their individual performances. Their individual contributions show that they were roughly equal. Neymar more creative, Ronaldo more goal scoring. But then we also have to look at their abilities away from that. Neymar created more chances for his teams, because obviously, he was...
I mean, he was in a position to.
Yeah, but that's like you saying that, the function of the purpose of football is to score goals. Therefore, Ronaldo being in that position, makes him better. So me saying that Neymar creating more chances because he's in that position is the
did the
exact
ball
same
go
thing
into the
that
back
you're
of
trying
net
to push for.
with those small chances that he created?
Okay, well, I'll have a look then. Okay, so we'll do... that only shows fucking Lolly.
We're talking Neymar versus Ronaldo.
Are we serious right now?
Yeah, I'm just here for the ride.
Yeah. Well, currently we're only looking at 2017.
So who's saying Neymar's better?
Me, because he is an overall better player than Ronaldo.
Alright, there's someone named that right now. Okay,
yeah, that's me.
That's a very intriguing question. They both have the same birthday. In what
really?
regards? Because Ronaldo's a better shooter, obviously.
So Vincenzo says Ronaldo has more goals and assists than Neymar. Yeah, in total, because he's literally 7 years older and also wasn't riddled with injuries from brutish tackles. Like Neymar was almost paralyzed, for crying out loud.
I know. Neymar got
on a per game rate. I even
What's
remember
good?
this.
Just call me Logan.
I even remember this just from pure memory. From European stats alone, Ronaldo had 1.06 contributions per game. Neymar had 1.08. So there is a clear cut thing that in Europe, Neymar contributed more in a single game than Ronaldo. But it's an extremely minute difference, hence why my name is equal to or more than, because of that close gap. And then if you take it away from their offensive contribution statistics, which is obviously direct contributions, goals and assists, you then have to look at their more creative performances where Neymar, even as you admitted, purely outclassed with far better passing and dribbling and overall game intelligence, whereas Ronaldo has the advantage in physical abilities.
Yeah. So, like I said, right, in my whole thing is, when it comes to technical ability, pure football and stuff like that, there's no debate. Neymar is way better.
Yeah,
but when it comes
contributes towards his overall versatility.
But when it comes to, right, who's gonna get me goals? Who's gonna
create the goals? Who's gonna create the goals?
Who's gonna get me some Instagram
forget creating
followers?
goals? Because the problem with
what do you mean forget creating goals?
Listen to me. Listen to me.
Neymar creates goals better than Ronaldo. Come on, wait, what Ronaldo are we talking about?
But listen
Raito
to me, guys.
Doesn't care about playmakers.
Relax.
Spread it everywhere. Cancel him on Twitter.
Are we talking about United Ronaldo
guys,
or Madrid Ronaldo? Because there's a clear difference between both of them.
Can I explain myself first?
Okay, Papa.
Right.
What?
So the reason why I said forget creating goals is because you can create 10 goals, you can create 10 chances and only one of them go in. It's about what actually goes into the back of the net, not about what's
Every
being
goal
created.
is worth 1 point. So whether it's an insane bicycle kick versus Juventus,
Okay,
or just a little tap in versus
precisely,
Osasuna,
and Ronaldo's
they're
the
still
one
worth
that
the
creates
same point.
and then Ronaldo's the one that scores the goals, right?
And Ronaldo's the Ronaldo's the one that scores
we
them.
not establish
Neymar's
that
the one that
Ronaldo has more
creates them. And it's clear from their
contributions than Neymar?
1.06 to 1.08 difference in goal ratio that Neymar marginally does it better than Ronaldo. His goal scoring
isn't that
plus
just in the champs?
creating is marginally better than Ronaldo's goal scoring.
That's not career stats. That's just champs, right?
No, that is career stats in Europe, ignoring Neymar and the Brazilian league.
See, why are we doing Europe first of all? Let's
because
do
Europe is
the
miles
bread and
better
butter
than non-Europe.
Well,
If we add in
their
their stats outside,
let's do the league, the bread and butter, bro. The league. Stick to the league.
Their career is more than a single league, and if we include the Saudi
I hear that,
league
but we've
and the
established
Brazilian league, then
we've
Neymar still
established that
takes
in
anyway
Europe they're
because in his
very
youth he
negligible, right?
he wiped the Brazilian league. So if we
But
include these non-European
but
leagues, the
Brazilian
gap
league.
only
So
gets
you
wider
don't
for
think
Neymar.
Ronaldo would have bagged in the Brazilian league?
Who knows? You're just making an assumption.
Exactly. So we can't go there.
What
Can't go
assumption?
there.
That's like saying, could Neymar have done it in Serie A?
Let's stick to La Liga where they both play.
But then you're being reductionist. You're being one-dimensional and ignoring them adapting
because we've
and
already
playing in other
established that
play
in
styles.
Europe they're very negligible.
Well, let's just do both of them in La Liga, and then each of them in the different European league they branched off to, being Liga and Serie A.
We can't do the different European leagues
you
because
can.
there's levels to that.
Stop hating on Liga and Serie A.
There's levels to that. It's like saying let's take Messi's MLS stats, bro. There's levels to this.
There's a difference between the European top 5 leagues and the MLS.
there's levels to this, bro. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. Because I don't rate French league personally.
What is it against the French league you have?
It's us, bro.
He just hates it because he knows that with it, Neymar's stats absolutely eclipse Ronaldo's Serie A stats.
Because I believe that if Ronaldo
PSG
was in the
Neymar
French
was prime
league,
Neymar. Look at Neymar in 2017-18 when he signed for PSG, whether or not he's playing against cannon fodder Ligue 1, even when he was playing against cannon fodder La Liga
and I think that if Ronaldo was there
Neymar
at the same time,
utterly
he would outdo him.
2017-18 Neymar at PSG, overall contributions in all competitions, outdid both Messi and Neymar. Messi and Ronaldo.
Yeah, because it's an easier
Neymar
league,
outdid
bro.
Both of them.
I would expect him to do that.
All competitions, and stop hating on it, because Messi would be going up against La Liga cannon
so Daddy, are
like
you telling me you
Osasuna,
wouldn't expect
Legunes, Mallorca.
Are you telling me you wouldn't expect Neymar to outdo Messi and Ronaldo if he's playing in League One compared to them playing in La Liga? Are you telling me
it's more comparable than you think, because you're ignoring the fact that La Liga also has crappy teams?
Let's not do that. It's not.
Look, they're all professionals
we're not
playing
doing
in
that.
Europe against other
we're
teams
not doing that.
that are in Europe that are also professionals. Stop hating on everything that isn't La Liga and the Prem, and just compare their careers holistically, which is the most reliable way to do it.
No, we it's not the most reliable way, because the different
yes,
levels
it is.
of the leagues
Yes,
that they
it
play.
is. They both went to cannon fodder leagues, and they both played in Ligue 1. They all played in Europe, all played in the Champions League.
It can't be, because if Ronaldo was in Santos, I'm pretty sure he outdoes Neymar.
No, that's just an assumption. You're just assuming he would do better. That's like me saying that if Neymar played for Sporting...
And that's why I'm saying let's stick to what is not an assumption. Let's stick to the league.
But then we're even going to say, because we can also go like, oh my God, Neymar was in Barcelona's system and Ronaldo was in Real Madrid's system. Also different.
But it's still the same league. They still play the same
teams.
Barca,
or would Neymar have done better on Real Madrid?
They still played against the same teams, and they still played against each other.
And yet they were still in different systems and therefore would function differently. They're two different players in two different systems.
It's more,
no matter
it's more
what
of a
you're
controlled
comparing.
environment than saying we comparing Ligue 1 to Serie A.
But you're still ignoring them at different points in their career. You're reducing it,
no,
which means you're not grasping their
I'm trying to
careers
get
in
the
a
most
total.
controlled environment.
And despite that, you're getting less controlled results. You're getting
How am I
very
getting less controlled
unreliable results.
How am
Because
I
you're
getting
not
less
looking
controlled
at them at
results?
every point in their career.
No, we can't go by every point in their career because Neymar started off at Santos.
And Ronaldo's finishing off at Al Nassr. What's your point?
Nah, we ain't
Just
doing that, bro.
compare them
Ronaldo's
holistically.
finishing
Look at
off,
them
bro.
from the start of
His
their career
career is
to where they
finishing.
are at the moment.
Neymar's
Why are
starting
you
his career.
Neymar's career was starting.
Bro, how can we do like no Neymar and Santos and then we can do Ronaldo and Nassar? That's some double
No,
standard.
I'm not doing that.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm
We
saying
only do
purely.
them in
I'm saying
Europe.
let's just do La Liga.
Just do it in Europe.
I'm saying no, because let's do Europe and La Liga then.
Europe, Neymar is very close to Ronaldo. I can't even lie.
He's
Let's do
marginally
Europe
better.
and La Liga then. And the reason
Yeah,
why I
because
don't want to
in La
stick to
Liga, we've
Europe is
got
because Europe
prime
isn't
Ronaldo.
bread and butter. The league is. The league has a bigger sample size.
A bigger sample size.
What? So 38 games over what? 17 games in Europe in a season.
Sorry, I
Bro,
was just laughing at the fact you used
of course it's a
sample
bigger
size.
sample size. I don't know what's
Sample
funny about that.
size.
Of course it's a bigger sample size. Like that's factually
Oh,
correct.
I say sample size. I'm dead.
Because it's a sample size, no?
But also, you get a bigger sample size if you look at them throughout most of their career.
Yeah, but it's too much variables because the league they play in are too different.
It's quite literally a suck it up. They played in different leagues moment.
No,
that's literally
forget
it.
that. Let's keep it
What
as
do you
straightforward as
forget
possible.
that?
Let's just talk about the leagues they played in.
Just deal with the fact that they played in different leagues.
No. Let's just play. Let's just stick to the leagues that they played in at the same time. That's a better
Or just stick to
controlled
the leagues that they both played in their career. Because otherwise, you're just comparing Barcelona Neymar versus Real Madrid Ronaldo, and not
I'm giving you the
comparing
fairest. I'm
Neymar
giving
and
you the
Ronaldo.
fairest
You're not giving it the
variable, and
fairest. You're
you
giving
want to
it
shift it to something that can skew in your favor.
Even if Ronaldo had the advantage in their overall, even if in their overall career, Ronaldo was better than Neymar. Like, let's say Juventus, Man United, and Real Madrid Ronaldo was better than Barcelona and PSG Neymar. I would still look at that whole thing because it compares them at different aspects of their career and therefore displays the evolution that they showed over the course of their career and how they adapted to different opponents and styles overseas. Instead of just focusing on one point in their career where they were most likely just more of a stagnant player.
If they was to go to the same leagues together, then I would understand that. But it's too much of a variable. League 1 is arse, bro.
La Liga has arse teams as well.
No, I'm not talking about the teams being arse. I'm talking about the whole league in general. Is
the whole league was not arse. Like for example, you had a Monaco team with like a revolutionized Falcao. You've got an Mbappe exploding on the scene. You've got Bernardo Silva. You've got Fabinho. You've got like Prime Subasic, who was actually a really decent keeper. You got like that centre-back partnership of Glick and Jemison, who were both at the peak of their powers and actually
all of those guys
season.
won so many Champions Leagues, bro.
Who else other than Real Madrid and Barcelona won the Champions League in La Liga? What are you going to do? Chuck fucking freaking Osasuna my way and say that they're better just because they play in Spain?
At least Atletico got to the finals.
Lyon and Monaco both got to the semis.
Oh, bro, come on, the semi-hype.
Oh my god, the Liga and downplay.
Semi-hype, bro, semi-hype.
Literally, there is cannon fodder teams in both leagues. And they both played in Europe where they would have competed in the Champions League
anyway. The levels
anyway.
of La Liga is much higher than League 1.
Who gets to decide that? Isn't that just a
matter
of opinion?
To decide that?
Who gets to decide that? What are you going to do? Decide it by
the
market
European
value?
Performances. All that it's all a deciding factor, bro.
It's a matter of opinion.
No, it's not an opinion.
It's a matter of opinion.
If you wanna go by European performances so much, right? Go by the coefficients. and the La Liga has a higher coefficient than the
based on the
League 1.
opinions of
On top of that,
somebody.
all the leagues are rated, by the way, and League 1 isn't even a
By
top
an
5.
opinion.
Oh, bro, come on. If we're gonna say that, then we can't get anywhere. If we're not gonna go by the objective ratings
It's
of
not
the leagues.
objective.
It is objective.
The coefficient is
The
either
coefficient
made by
is a
a
point system.
person's
It's a point
opinion
scoring
or a
system, right?
robot that cannot comprehend the
No,
deeper aspects of
it's a
football.
point scoring system based on performances of teams from those leagues in the Champions League.
But not all of them play in the
UEFA
Champions League.
European
You've got the
competitions,
cannon fodder
not
in La
just the
Liga
Champions
and the
League.
cannon fodder in Liga that don't play European football. You're not looking at the whole league. Like, you're not seeing...
What about them? They still have the chance to qualify for it. They just don't because they suck.
Oh my God! There's a certain amount of European positions in each league. You can't fit all
And
of
there's
them
a
in.
reason for
Like,
that.
you're not going to have like
And
an analysis
there's a
of Stade
reason for
Brestois
the certain
versus
amount.
UNT Lagunes. Like,
And
come
there's a
on, they're
reason
both cannon
for the
fodder teams
certain
in La
amount,
Liga and
and
Liga.
that's the coefficient of the league.
But the teams don't play against each other because they're not in the same league. Therefore, you cannot grasp an actual comprehensive comparison. It is a robot
they do once they buck each other
based on
in the Champions
incomplete
League,
data
Europa
that's
League,
not comprehensive.
the Conference League. Once they buck each other, they do play against each other, and more
Not
times
every
the
team
Spanish
play
teams
against each
over
other.
the French.
Oh my day! You really think that a robot making up a number can determine the
It's not a
quality?
made up number though. It's a calculation.
How can you calculate a football game?
It's not calculating a football game. It's calculating points based on how far a team from your league gets in the competition.
Not all of them qualify for the competition. All of the crappy teams don't qualify
There's
for the
a reason
competition.
why they don't qualify. It's because they ass, bro.
There's crappy teams in both leagues.
Yeah, but
there's crappy teams in Serie A.
the ones
there's
that get
crappy
you the coefficient
in
points
Liga.
are the
There's
ones that
crappy
are
teams
in the
the
league.
Bundesliga. There's crappy
The ones
teams
that
in La
get you the
Liga. And
coefficient
there's
points are the
crappy
ones that
teams
are
in the
in the
Premier
league,
League.
not the ones that are not.
They all have crappy teams.
Yeah, I know. And League has more crappy teams than the
But the coefficient doesn't measure that.
Then La
The
Liga.
crappy teams in each league don't calculate.
No, but it does
measure how many number.
It does measure how many teams a league should have based on how good the teams that are in the competition do.
But not the one.
I've lost brain cells, guys.
God, this is.
Anyways, I tried to give you the most fair variable.
It's only the most fair variable because you're stating it to be.
No, it's literally the most fair variable because both players played in those leagues.
But you're also ignoring the other aspects of their career.
Forget the other aspects of their
career.
What
do you mean forget the other aspects
let's talk
of their
about when
career?
they was both in the same leagues together.
You're ignoring the other aspects of their career, which is unreliable
the other
and
aspects
reductionist.
of their career, man, because it's negligible anyways.
What do you mean it's negligible? Come on.
It's negligible, bro. You're telling me that Neymar's that far ahead of Ronaldo in the other leagues? Because he's not. Because he's not. God, if anything, he's behind Ronaldo.
Just being ignorant.
Because if anything,
you trying to accuse me of trying to incorporate this to try buff Neymar works in reverse of you trying to ignore it to buff Ronaldo.
I'm not trying to ignore it to buff Ronaldo. I'm literally giving us the best scenario, the best environment to judge them.
It's ignorant and doesn't evaluate them holistically. 3 glaring weaknesses. And the only weakness that you're coming off is, I think their teams are shit, based off a coefficient that doesn't even measure all the teams.
Why would it measure all the teams? And if you want the measurement of all the teams, there's literally rankings of the leagues.
Based on people's opinions. Humans are not reliable sources of information.
So where do you want the source of the rankings to be? What do you want?
There shouldn't be one. a football game is different.
So you're telling me that Ligue 1 is just as good as La Liga. Then is that
I'm not saying it's just as good as La Liga. I'm saying you
Why
can't
are we
determine
bringing the
that.
weak teams into this?
Isn't it? That's what I'm saying. Why do
Because
we even
all of
bring
them
the
play
weak teams
against
into
weak
it?
teams, because not every team is Real Madrid and Barcelona.
Yeah, but who cares?
No, why are we not? Can we just focus on Neymar and Ronaldo? Like, why
There
do we
you
need to
go.
bring them
That's
into
what I'm
this?
trying to do.
No,
that's
what
why we
I'm
should
trying
look
to
at
do.
them
You're
for their
trying to
whole
take.
No,
European
Raito,
career.
you're just shitting on small teams and then using that as
Exactly.
I'm
You
not
can't be
comparisons
shitting on
doing
against
small
that,
more
teams.
shittier
Raito.
teams in France. That's what you've been doing for past
You
15
can't be
minutes.
I'm
crapping
not
on the
shitting
small
on small
teams.
teams.
You've been shitting on
Eddie.
Liga for 15 minutes.
It's actually Dead who's shitting on small teams.
How am I? What?
It's actually
The
Dead
only
who's shitting
small
on small.
Spanish teams got cooked by
The only
Ryzen
the only
twice in the
small teams
semifinals
that
and the
I'm
quarterfinals. We talk about
looking
Spanish.
down on are the ones outside of Europe in the Brazilian league and the Saudi Arabian league, in which one comment made a couple years ago in the Saudi league when Ronaldo was there was said that our backup goalkeeper was a part-time dentist. Enough said. That's why we should look at them in Europe, because you haven't got teams as crappy as having dentists in their team, but you're
But
also
this is
not
what I said.
ignoring. But you're
So now
also
you're
not.
going to my metrics. I said
Well, if
let's
you
look
let me
at Europe
finish,
and let's look at La Liga.
you're restricting it even more.
How?
Let's ignore
You
them
just want
outside
Europe.
of the Europe's top 5 leagues, and let's ignore everything else completely to just look at one aspect. What it should be is the middle ground, where you look at them in Europe's top 5 leagues, where you're not
which
restricting it to a
France is not
single
one of
part
them,
of their
by the way.
career.
Which France is not one of them, by the way.
France is one of them. The
No,
top
it's
5
not.
leagues are the Premier League, Liga, and Serie A, Bundesliga, and La Liga.
No, it's not. France is not one of Europe top 5.
What are you going to say? The Eredivisie? Or Liga Portugal? Or, I don't know, the Championship?
Oh,
Premier
actually,
League.
no. My bad.
Oh.
It is now. It wasn't.
What do you mean? It always was.
No, it wasn't a couple of years ago, actually.
It was a couple of years ago.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't. It's actually just been. One sec.
Neymar is also far more versatile. He's shown the ability to play up front, on the wing, and in cam as well.
And just like someone said earlier in the video, in this live stream, Neymar can track down when he was in Barcelona. I forgot who said that, but yeah, someone was talking about Neymar tracking back a lot.
Exactly. Neymar was the most defensive.
Not playing defense anymore, bro. But I don't know which Ronaldo he's talking about. Are you talking about like Ronaldo who was dribbling like a fiend in Man United, or
dribbling like a fiend?
No,
dribbling like a fiend. You mean having no penetration and just
Ronaldo in La Liga, but he wants to
then
go.
We don't get that versatile side of Ronaldo. Ronaldo was more like
exactly. So look at them in Europe and not just in
La
La Liga, because you're ignoring that more flamboyant side of Ronaldo and the more potent upfront goal scorer that he was at Juventus, and you're also ignoring when Neymar was at PSG, which was his prime years. 2017.
But even if you roll all those in, right? Who gets more goals contribution?
Neymar marginally. Ronaldo has 1.06 contributions per 90, and Neymar has 1.08 contributions per 90, with Ronaldo having a lot more goals and Neymar having a lot more assists.
What time frame we're going by? And is that just the Europe stat, isn't it?
Yeah.
Why are we just going by Europe stat? Why are we not going by leagues?
I'm going by them when they were in European football, in their leagues, in their domestic cups, and in their European major competitions.
Why are you omitting leagues, first of all? Answer that.
Why am I what?
Why are you omitting their leagues?
I'm not omitting leagues. I'm including it. Like I said, it's when they were in Europe. Oh, you mean in Europe as in in Europeans' major competitions.
Yeah,
in Europe means when you're playing football on the European continent.
Okay, so that's including leagues then.
Yeah, they're league cups. No, not league cups. League titles, domestic cups, and European major competitions.
Mm-hmm.
Neymar is marginally more better than Ronaldo when it comes to overall offensive contributions. 1.06 to 1.08.
You're right. Well, that's fair. I mean, I do think if Ronaldo was playing in League he'd do much better than that.
But you're only making an assumption.
Yeah, I know.
I think if Neymar was in Serie A, he would have done a much better job.
Nah, no way.
Well, think about it. You know, the tempo is slower. You have a Ronaldo
It's
who was
got
also
better
slowing down, so he was kind of just there because that's the only thing he could handle at that
also
point.
has better defenders there.
But like, who's stopping Neymar? Like, if we swap their careers, who's stopping Neymar? Like, when did Ronaldo join? 18-19. Neymar was still in like his prime in those 18-19 to 20 to 21 season. Like literally all the seasons
Neymar's
Ronaldo was in
prime
Juve,
was
this was like
2017
prime
to
PSG
2018
Neymar.
because that's the season that he also managed to outdo Messi.
Because like these are the seasons when Ronaldo goes to Juve. This is when Neymar is doing his crazy stuff in PSG.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but
also when Ronaldo was in
do...
his prime at Real Madrid, you've got Neymar that wasn't entirely in his prime at Barcelona.
That is a very good point about does he do well.
That's why I think we should incorporate both because it includes Ronaldo's prime at Real and Neymar's
No,
prime
he would
at
do well in
PSG.
La Liga. My problem is, will he do well with a very defensive-oriented league in Serie A? Like, if we put Bachua and Ubers, does he do well? That's my question. Because I feel like Serie A isn't really a league for wingers. I mean, you have your Chiesa there and then, but like,
yeah, but they're not prolific though.
And they would fuck up Neymar's ankles for sure, bro.
Well,
those
Chiesa was
defensive
kind of
beasts.
prolific, you know.
Like, you know the way they were the Serbians were
Leao,
tackling Neymar? Yeah, he's getting a lot of that every week. So
I'm just saying Neymar would tear apart the Serie A. Oh, I also have proof of this. I also have proof of this being in 2016. It was a preseason match between Barcelona and Juventus. And this was like prime Juve, you know, before all of the scandals of the late 2010s and early 2020s. Neymar ripped through their entire team in one go and slotted it bottom corner, destroyed the best team in Italy, one of the best teams in the world, destroyed their defense, no difficulty.
Did he win the Champions League?
Isn't that a team competition that isn't decided by any one individual player?
I mean, you just talking about one individual player's contribution.
Yeah, I was talking about a feat made by Neymar that proves his competency against his Serie A side.
I mean, that's one game though.
Yeah, it's better than zero.
Yeah,
like,
it is better
how
than
many
zero,
games
but
Ronaldo
it's not 32.
has played in Ligue 1.
It's still not 38. It's better than zero, but it's not 38, is it? Which is what Ronaldo did.
Yeah, but it's better than Ronaldo's zero against, you know, in Ligue 1.
I mean, we don't know if it's actually zero because I can't remember any.
Ronaldo has not played in Ligue 1.
Huh?
Ronaldo has not played in Ligue 1.
Yeah, I know. But
and the thing is, if we're gonna go by,
has he played PSG?
Ronaldo has not played for PSG.
No, has he played against PSG?
Yeah, he played against them.
Yeah, he played against them like
2017,
in the Champions League before.
Did he win or did he lose?
He won both games.
Real Madrid won.
They crushed the hell out of PSG both times. And then 2 seasons prior, again when Zlatan was there, they crushed the hell out of that team. Right, so stop money into
the I'm just saying, man, we can do this one game thing, and both players can look good. But if you say per 90, right, Neymar outdoes Ronaldo, in Europe, then that's fair enough. Then you've got your point there, but it still doesn't mean he's got more contributions than Ronaldo in Europe, does it? And one bird in hand is better than two. What's that say?
Killing two birds with one stone is
No,
better
no,
than.
it's one bird in hand.
I don't live in the UK. That's you guys' problem.
So one bird in hand is worth two in the bush.
What the hell?
So basically means what you've actually done, what you've actually got, is better than what two that you may have or you may catch in the future. So Neymar's per 90 numbers are only just better than Ronaldo's, right? But Ronaldo has more goal contributions in actual fact. Yeah. I mean, they're both good. I think Neymar is the prince that was never crowned. Um, I don't think Neymar actually lived up to his potential, which is sad because I think he had a really high ceiling. I don't think he actually hit that ceiling. Um, but yeah, I think Ronaldo smashed through his ceiling, and yeah, he's reaping the rewards.
Maybe don't skip football for your birthday. I don't know.
Neymar don't skip leg days.
Neymar skips days for his sister's birthday a bunch of times.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas Ronaldo doesn't skip any days.
So all I'm getting for this is Bachira over Baro.
What? Oh my god!
Hey, that's actually a debate. You know, that's a real debate.
Maybe that's another
I
versus
don't
battle.
know.
That's a real debate. Like who's better, Bachira or Barrow?
I mean, isn't it basically the same thing? Baro has more stats, but
Yeah,
like Bachira potential and all that.
yeah. Ooh, I don't even know who I'd choose between the two of them.
Honestly, right now, I'd go for a Barrow because he's a mixture of Ronaldo's power, but at the same time, dribbling fiend Ronaldo when he had his chop lane building stuff.
Mm,
So Barrow's like the mix of United and Real Madrid with home
Real
Ronaldo.
Madrid. Yeah,
I'd give Barrow that edge, but it's very close.
yeah. It's actually a good debate, that one. You'd have to go in depth, but I don't even know who I'd pick right now. Because Bachira's NEL performances, they moved me. Before the NEL, I was having Barrow hands down every day, but post NEL, man, it's a good debate.
Barrow, I mean Batcher, man.
You having Bachira? What do you say? You having Bachira?
No, I'm having Barrow.
Oh yeah, yeah. You said you're having Barrow. Yeah, it's hard, man. It's hard.
I would take Bachira.
Bachira. Yeah, I think you can't go wrong with either one. Uh, mate. I think I'd have Bachira only because in the Blue Lock world, they've got players that can do solo charges, and Bachira is one of those. Um, Barrow can be stopped. We've seen it before. Um, Bachira is really hard to stop, though.
Yeah, I mean the
Bachelor
thing with
Jerry, bro. You know Tom and Jerry.
Mm.
Bachelor's a rat. Can't catch that rat.
Bachelor is what? Sorry.
Bachelor's a rat. He's a mouse. You can't catch the mouse.
Yeah.
yeah, but if you can catch him doing the same thing twice, you can stop him. That's
Yeah.
Yeah,
what.
like Captain Munchin had a very good plan to trap that mouse.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
And that's why I wanted Pablo be one of his teachers in my. I think that was 2 videos ago. I talked about Pablo teaching Bachelor more dynamic.
Mm.
But hey, he's really good now with Gengar. It's insane how crazy he got.
He's a god now.
I know that PXG game ruined a lot of Barcha fans because like we didn't get to see Bachelor do any of the crap, so we had to wait until Manshine for everyone to be like, "Oh yeah, Bachelor is still forgot about that."
Yeah. Yeah. But that was a. It was a good debate, to be fair.
I'm fucking going to bed.
Yeah. I think we wrap it up. This is the longest stream we've had.
I think it might be. Yeah.
Yeah. It was a good stream, good debate. But like I said, man, I'm pure football. I'm taking Neymar all day. I'm taking Neymar all day. I just think like,
Maybe.
yeah, just like in terms of putting the ball in the back of the net. Yeah, it's a barrel battery thing. But yeah, man, you guys, thank you so much for
Yeah.
joining me. Thank you for your contributions.
Like how Neymar got
Guys,
more contributions per game than Ronaldo.
it's not per
Okay,
game,
buddy.
it's per 90, per 90. Uh, but yeah, guys in the chat, thank you as well. I think probably most people are gone. I don't know. They changed the layout of this website, so now I was able to see like how many people are in the chat, but now I can't see it anymore on the
Damn.
website, which is annoying. But yeah, thank you guys. I'm gonna wrap it up here. So everyone, please take care and God bless.
Yeah.
See ya.
See ya.